So that's good. Once again, welcome to this very, very memorable event, our annual ethics lecture. And this is our 10th year. This is our 10th lecture series. That means we've been doing this for 10 times. And I would like to commend the team that is behind this effort because it takes a lot to put a lecture such as this together. And a great kudos to GhIE for persevering and for educating everyone out there about the importance of ethics. I told you I was going to take you to my classroom, so let me do that right now. So one of the first things we teach our students when we're introducing them to the concept of ethics is this saying: engineers design many products and provide many services that affect our quality of life and safety. They supervise the construction of buildings, dams, highways, bridges, mass transit systems, and power plants. Engineers must perform under a certain standard of professional behavior, which requires adherence to the highest principles of ethical conduct. And that is why we are here. Before we dive into our session for today, and before I invite the chair of the professional practice of ethics, right, committee, before I invite her to come and give us the welcome address, I want to acknowledge a few dignitaries we have among our midst. I know our special guests will be introduced specially. So if you don't hear your name now, I haven't forgotten you and we appreciate you being here. I want you to be introduced properly. So when the time comes, we'll do that. But I want to acknowledge a few resident people we have amongst our midst. Can you give it up for our Vice President of Ghana Institution of Engineering, Engineer Dr. Patrick Amoabekwe. He's here in his own capacity and standing in for our president as well. And I'd also like to acknowledge some of our past presidents who have joined us today. Let me have a wave for all our past presidents. And I'll mention a few names. And I just want to caveat that if you don't hear your name, I'm starting from the least important to the most important. And the last name I mentioned, by the time we are closing, you are the most important. So I'd like to acknowledge our immediate past president, Engineer Kwabena Bempong. Please give us a wave. Engineer Atto Roberts is here with us, I believe, as well. Can I have a wave? Atto, right. Yes, sir. Sincere apologies. And then I also have Engineer Quayson here as well. Yes, please. Thank you so much for joining us. Engineer Professor Reverend Charles Adams. Engineer Prof. Adams. He has 3 titles. Please give him a wave. Engineer Magnus Kwashi is here with us as well. Give us a wave. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. And we also have among us our registrar for the Engineering Council, Engineer Isaac Bedu is here. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. We also have our immediate past, or rather former Executive Director, Engineer David Nyante. Thank you so much for joining us. And then also have our Director of Membership Services, who is standing in for our current Executive Director, Engineer Juliet Gomita. Am I right? Yes, fantastic. Thank you so much. I want to acknowledge all our council members, all present council members. Kindly give me a wave. Thank you so much for joining us. And I also want to acknowledge all our immediate past council members. Is that right? Please give me a wave. One of the things that I learned when I joined GhIE is that we truly believe in sustainability and succession planning. So in GhIE, when you come, you will meet the immediate past president. Then you will meet the president. Then you will meet the incoming president. And all the past presidents will be here as well, because we're here to guide everyone through the process. So if you hear a lot of presidents, that is why it is there. Maybe Ghana should try that as well. We don't elect for this 4 years, but that when we elect, you study under whoever it is, opposition or same party, for the next 4 years before it becomes your turn. Then Ghana will be definitely an interesting place. I'd like to welcome to the stage right now the chair for Professional Practice and Ethics Committee, Engineer Obinewa Okujetu, whose birthday it was yesterday, by the way.
Thank you very much, Engineer Dr. Lucy Ajapon. So fun fact, Lucy and I have been classmates. We were classmates in Wesley Girls. So there's a bit of blood relation there. I was hoping someone would speak before me so I would stand on existing protocols, but unfortunately, I'm the first to go. So please bear with me as I go through this. The Vice President of the Ghana Institution of Engineering, Engineer Dr. Patrick Amwabe-Quini, this is your home, so I'm acknowledging you. Honorable Minister of Agriculture, who is duly represented here today by Honorable Kwesi Etubonde. He is the Chief Technical Advisor to the Minister of Food and Agriculture, and also former MP for Kintampo North. I acknowledge our special guest, the Executive Director of Cosmos Innovation Center, Mr. I almost said Engineer Benjamin Kesse. And then I also acknowledge our guest speaker, Mr. Senyo Hosi. Council members, past president, past council members, members of Ghana Institution of Engineering, invited guests, partners from academia and industry, students and friends who are present, and those who are joining us online as well. It is my great pleasure on behalf of the Professional Practice and Ethics Committee of the Ghana Institution of Engineering to warmly welcome you all to this year's annual ethics lecture. Each year, this lecture provides us with a vital opportunity to pause and reflect on the moral compass that guides our profession. Engineering is not only about innovation, design, and efficiency. It is fundamentally about responsibility. Responsibility to people, responsibility to communities, and to the environment that sustains us. This year's theme, Feeding Ghana Responsibly, the Ethical Role of Engineers, calls on us to consider how our work intersects with one of the most essential pillars of national development, food security. As engineers, whether in agriculture, water management, energy, transportation, or advanced technologies, our decisions influence how sustainably and equitably Ghana can feed her people. Ethical engineering practice demands that we apply our skills, not only with technical precision, but with integrity, foresight, and compassion. It requires that we innovate responsibly, minimize harm, and ensure that our contributions uplift society. To our distinguished guests, welcome to the home of Ghana's engineering fraternity. As we listen to you and engage in the discussions that follow, I have one sincere appeal. Let this not be an evening of self-congratulation. We do not gather here merely to pat ourselves on the back for being engineers. We gather to challenge ourselves, to question our practices, and to ignite action on this year's theme. And I'm sure we've chosen the right person to do that. Tonight, as we listen to you and engage in discussion, let us reaffirm our commitment to uphold the highest ethical standards in all we do, knowing that the future of a sustainable and food-secure Ghana depends on how responsibly we apply our engineering expertise. So once again, on behalf of the Professional Practice and Ethics Committee of the Ghana Institution of Engineering, I welcome you all and thank you for joining us to celebrate ethics in action within our esteemed profession. Thank you and enjoy the evening.
Thank you for that, Engineer. I have so many fun facts that I could say about her, but she'll literally beat me up. So I'll keep those fun facts to myself. All right, so we'll move on very swiftly with our agenda. And we would want to invite Engineer Dr. Patrick Bekwe to come and give us the remarks on behalf of our president.
Thank you very much. I'm doing this on behalf of the president. Yesterday, we had a chat, and he said that whatever I say, if there's any backlash, it's on me. If there's any glory, it goes to him. So this is the voice of engineer Ludwig Annan Hesse, the president of the Ghana Institution of Engineering. I think I'll stand on existing protocols, but just a minute, I'll say distinguished chair, the rep of the Minister of Food and Agriculture, our distinguished guest of honor, Mr. Benjamin Gyan-Kesse, the keynote speaker, Mr. Senyo Hosi. And as I said, I stand on existing protocols, but just to add representative from our allied professional bodies, if there are any from the IET and any of the Ghana Institution of Architects and the rest, we recognize your presence over here. Staff of the Secretariat, members of the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It is both an honor and a privilege to welcome you all to the Ghana Institution of Engineering, our professional home and a beacon of excellence in engineering practice. As a professional body under the Engineering Council, the institution is committed to promoting and advancing the science and practice of engineering for the benefit of society, not only within our nation, but across Africa and the world. Yet, as history and experience reminds us, engineering without ethics is merely a craft, not a calling. We are called, but if we don't have ethics, then it's just a craft. In recognition of this truth, the Council of the Institution, under the leadership of Engineer Magnus Lincoln Kwashi in 2015, instituted the annual ethics lecture to deepen our collective understanding of ethical responsibility in professional practice. Over the years, this platform has hosted distinguished speakers whose insights have challenged and inspired us to uphold integrity, accountability, and excellence in the service of society. This year's theme, Feeding Ghana Responsibly, the ethical role of engineers, revolves around the critical role engineering professionals play in building a food-secure and ethically driven future of our nation. As you are aware, the central pillar of government's 24-hour economy initiative is the Feed Ghana program launched in April 2025. Its goal is to boost agricultural production, enhance food security, and provide raw materials for agro-industry by creating sustainable employment across the value chain. The government has also introduced the Presidential Initiative in Agriculture and Agribusiness, what they call the PIA, to advance the modernization of agricultural sector. The success of this visionary program rests heavily on the ingenuity and dedication of Ghanaian engineering professionals. Across the country, our practitioners are already contributing through the design and maintenance of agricultural mechanization systems, the development of agro-industry and climate resilient structures, the improvement of rural roads, which I am part of. I work in the Department of Feeder Roads, and that's all that we do. And also rural electrification, the advancement of renewable energy and smart farming technologies, the promotion of sustainable land and water management, and the optimization of industrial processes and supply chain. Yet, as essential as these contributions are, they will yield their full benefit only when carried out with ethical conviction. Albert Schweitzer once said, ethics is nothing else than reverence for life. For us, as engineering practitioners, the reverence translates into how our work shapes the lives of millions. It is about public trust, safety, nation building. Ethical practice is the compass that ensures we do it well and do it right for the public good, for sustainability, and for future generations. This evening, as I like to say, we are here to do ourselves medicine. In 3 years, and to guide us through these reflections, we are privileged to have with us Mr. Senyo Hosi. I know he's going to introduce very soon. A man known for his forthrightness, integrity, and passion for nation or national development. We look forward to his insights, unvarnished, thought-provoking, and above all, healing medicine. So he will give us the medicine today, healing medicine. Let us therefore open our hearts and minds to tonight's conversation, not merely to listen, but to be renewed in our individual and collective commitment to ethical engineering practice. In doing so, we not only advance our profession, but also strengthen the very foundation of our national progress and trust. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to welcome you once again to this year's annual ethics lecture of the Ghana Institution of Engineering. May this evening inspire us to build a future defined by competence, conscience, and character. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Dr. Patrick Amwan. Interesting, if you see the spelling of the query, it doesn't sound like that, but we have to say the right thing. So we've heard from our current president via our president. And I think we're in an interesting era for GhIE. I like to say GhIE are trendsetters. And we know all over the world, women are taking positions, and it's because they are given the opportunity to do so. Before I invite the next person to speak, I mean, GhIE, our current ED is a woman. Our chair for this is a woman. Our incoming president is also a woman. Please give it up for GhIE for being so forward-thinking and for giving the women an opportunity to excel as well. And on that regard, I would like to invite our president-elect, so our president in training, if you must, Engineer Sophia Abenatijani, to come and introduce our chairperson for today.
Evening. I wish I could say that I want to stand on existing protocols, but no, I want to acknowledge the dignitaries who have made it here in person. And I'll start by acknowledging the members who are here with us. We thank you so much. We don't take your presence here for granted. So, Engineer Vice President, who is standing in for the President, Engineer Patrick Amwabekwin, the past president of our institution. We are delighted to have you here and thank you for being here. Council of GhIE, our invited guests, and I would say all protocol observed. I am excited and greatly honored to introduce our chairperson for today's occasion. As we all know, our 2025-2026 council year, we've chosen for ourselves a theme that we are engineering Ghana, we are engineering it right, and we are engineering it well. No, we are engineering it well, we are engineering it right. And part of it is to feed Ghana responsibly, hence this evening's conversation. And you agree with me that since we are talking about feeding Ghana, then we couldn't have found a better chair than the person responsible for policy formulation when it comes to food and agriculture in our country. Our chairperson that we settled on is our own Honorable Minister for Food and Agriculture, Honorable Eric Opoku, who is also an MP for Asunafo South, and he has been an MP for the past 20 years, and he dreams and lives food and agriculture. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it, and so he has asked his right-hand man, who is the chief technical advisor to the minister, in the person of Honorable Kwesi Bondi. So I'll go ahead and read a brief profile of Honorable Itubonzi. For our Honorable Minister's profile, we can find it on page 8 of the brochure. And so we can read it and get all the interesting facts about him. But let me settle on our Chief Technical Advisor. Before we came here, I was having a conversation with him, and I learned that he's an agripreneur. And also, he has been a national best mango farmer, I think in 2011. So it tells you that he also, dreams and lives agriculture. So he's not just coming to talk theory, he's really coming to, tell us the facts. So Honorable Kwesi Bondi is also an MP for Kintampo North. So the minister is an MP, the chief technical advisor. Oh, former, okay. Then you are, he's a former MP of Kintampo North. And he's passionate about organizing smallholder farmers to supply food to feed Ghana. Whilst I was speaking with him, I could sense or touch that passion of feeding Ghana. And he holds a BSc in Agric and an MBA in entrepreneurship. He's a married man, married with just one wife. He has strong 4 boys and a beautiful daughter. And the fun part about him, he wants to be an engineer. So maybe council, we have to think about how we'll bring him on board as an associate member, a companion member. He is currently helping to reset Ghana's agricultural industry. So ladies and gentlemen, with a round of applause and a standing ovation, please, let's welcome our chairman for today's event.
Ghana, West Africa.
Thank you, Engineer Sophia, for this powerful introduction
An
and kind
agricultural
words.
powerhouse where entrepreneurs are turning local crops into global opportunities. These are Ghana's social.
Okay. I'll proceed, eh? Distinguished Fellows of Ghana Institution of Engineering, council members present here, invited guests, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kwesi Etu Bondi, affectionately called Akuafo Adamfo. I'm the technical advisor to the Honorable Minister for Food and Agriculture, Honorable Eric Opoku, Member of Parliament for Asunafo South. I bring you greetings from the Honorable Minister. He wished would have joined you this evening, especially with the team that you've chosen, that's feeding Ghana responsibly, the ethical role of engineers. And you know, the ministry flagship program is called Feed Ghana program. But he was called to the big house by the old man. So I was asked to represent him. His shoes are big. And as Dr. Engineer said, whatever I say here, if there is a slip, it's my responsibility. But if there is any glory, it goes to the Honorable Minister for Food and Agriculture. It is a great honor and privilege to chair this year's annual ethics lecture of Ghana Institution of Engineers, held under the thought-provoking theme, Feeding Ghana Responsibly, the ethical role of engineers. Yes. At this point, I will say, allow me, first of all, to commend the leadership of this institution for maintaining this annual tradition, a platform that challenges all of us to reflect on the moral and ethical dimensions of our professional practices. This year's theme speaks to a national imperative that touches every household and every community in our country. The responsibility to ensure that Ghana can feed herself sustainably, equitably, and with integrity lies on all of us. As we all know, food security is not just about increasing yield or expanding production. It is about ensuring the systems, technologies, and infrastructure that support agriculture are efficient, safe, and environmentally responsible. And this is where the engineering profession plays such a crucial role in our country food production. From the design of irrigation networks and post-harvest storage systems to the development of agro-processing, which is dear to our country because we lack it, and the rural infrastructure that makes transportation of our foodstuffs to the market being a major challenge, engineers are indispensable partners in building the foundation of a resilient and productive food system. But beyond technical expertise, this work demands ethical mindfulness. The commitment to make decisions that safeguard our environment, protect public health, and advancing social equity. To feed Ghana responsibly is therefore not only scientific or economic challenge, it is an ethical one. It requires engineers, along with policymakers, farmers like my good self, and industrial players to align innovation with responsibility and progress with sustainability. As we reflect on this tonight, I urge all of you and all of us to consider how we can better integrate ethical reasoning into engineering education, project designing, so that our dams will not break, and professional practice. Our choice as professionals must always place people, integrity, and public good at the center of our decision making. I wish to express my deep appreciation to the Council of the Ghana Institution for Engineering for the invitation to chair this important event, and to commend the organizers for the thought and effort that have gone into making it a success. I'm also delighted to welcome our guests of honor, distinguished keynote speakers, and all participants who have joined us for this evening reflection and learning. May the discussions that follows inspire renewed commitment to ethical engineering and strengthen our collective effort to build a food secured, sustainable, and prosperous Ghana. I thank all of you, and God bless our homeland, Ghana. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ikwiafo Adamfo. Thank you, Honorable, for being here. And please do send our warm greetings to the Honorable Minister. And please let him know that because he wasn't able to make it today, we are having a conference in March that is targeted at the exact thing your ministry is interested in about. Our theme for the conference is Engineering the Food Security and Sustainable Agriculture Value Chain. So if you smile at me today, to me, that's a yes. Both you and your minister will be joining us in Hope in March. And Honorable Minister and our technical advisor, we will be coming to see you to seal the deal. Please say thank you to him on our behalf. And as I said, if he smiles, that's a yes. So we will see you in Ho. Okay, so we'll move on very quickly. And we're going to move on and invite our guest of honor to give us some insights. But before I introduce him, I'll ask IT to play the video now.
Ghana, West Africa. An agricultural powerhouse where entrepreneurs are turning local crops into global opportunities. These are Ghana's social impact champions. This is Inside Africa. As Ghana's social entrepreneurs continue to push new ideas to market, another force is at work behind the scenes, helping those dreams grow into sustainable businesses. In Accra, the Cosmos Innovation Center, or KIC, is coaching, funding, and connecting the next wave of agri-innovators.
Cosmos Innovation Center is a not-for-profit organization focused on grooming young people in also across the continent to create innovative solutions.
KIC says its mission is simple: unlock young Ghanaians' ideas to solve real challenges across the food system.
The whole idea is to really tap into the innovative mindset, innovative thinking of young people in Ghana to really solve the real challenges that farmers, agribusiness practitioners are facing.
With life expectancy in Ghana around 66 years and the average farmer between 45 and 55, KIC is focused on cultivating a new generation of farmers to safeguard the nation's food security for the future.
The average age of the Ghanaian farmer is 58. Retirement is around 60 years. So if you really put all these numbers together, food sovereignty, food production, and the fact that we'll be able to feed ourselves was really at risk. And so we decided to create this program to get young people to it.
Among the startups graduating through its program, Farm Estates, an urban hydroponic farm growing vegetables in tiny controlled spaces.
At Farm Estates, we produce leafy green and fruity vegetables, which are all clean, pesticide-free, and devoid of any chemicals. Through the program, we were mentored and then we were also coached. We were given a lot of lessons about how businesses grown. And then by God's grace, we were able to win a grant of $40,000.
Farm estates are looking to reduce the carbon footprint of the food that people eat, bringing the farms closer to the consumer and using technology to automate the growing process.
As a techie, I would love to use automation to cater for something like irrigation, cater for something like temperature and humidity. We decided to incorporate AI into it to make sure that if we are not here and anything happens, the AI will be able to correct the problems by itself before even we get in to do anything.
For GhIE, startups like Farm Estates, businesses built to last,
It's about 90% success for the businesses that we give funding to.
and as Ghana and Africa grow, the stakes keep rising.
The last time I checked, everybody eats. And since everybody eats, it means nutrition is very important. And for Ghana and Africa generally, the data is telling us that we are going to have the largest youth population. And you know how much youth consume food. Therefore, it is important that we also do the right things now to be able to give the nutrition to the growing population in Africa.
By 2050, 1 in 4 people on Earth will be African. For programs like GhIE, that's a demographic wave and a responsibility.
We are looking at growing beyond that. In the next 10 years, our goal is to really impact about 2 million youth across the continent. It's
Ghana, West Africa.
Thank you very, very much. I think
Entrepreneurs are turning local crops into global opportunities.
so. We have
These are Ghana's social impact champions. This is Inside Africa.
okay. It looks like I'm back. We're truly inside Africa, as it has been said, but we apologize for the technical glitches. I'm going to go on and introduce our guest of honor, who will then come and give us some insight and also go on to introduce our keynote speaker. So Benjamin Gyan-Kesse is Executive Director of Cosmos Innovation Center, Ghana, a not-for-profit organization and business incubation hub, where he's driving the strategic execution of sustainable value chain transformation through innovation and tech for young people and entrepreneurs within the agricultural sector. As an agri-tech thought leader and professional with over 25 years of experience in farmer capacity and capacity building and agribusiness value chain programs, he has nurtured over 3,500 agri-entrepreneurs or agripreneurs and incubated more than 36 startups and has supported over 58,000 cocoa farmers across all the cocoa growing regions in Ghana, focusing on productivity, value addition, market access, and other livelihood improvements programs through ICTAG. Ben has worked previously with TechnoServe Ghana as a business advisor. He's also worked with Winco Cocoa Abrapoba Association, as training and development manager, as well as with Isoko as business development manager. A modern farmer into fruit cultivation and processing, he's also into food tech with a special focus on post-harvest loss management, project management, agri-marketing and sales, and of course, he'll be joining us in March next year at our conference. Please give it up for Mr. Benjamin Gyan-Kesse. our guest of honor.
Thank you. Good evening. My job is pretty easy, and I'm going to stand on existing protocols. Yeah, and everybody else have made my work easy, so I don't have to go through all, because I'll get dizzy when I start going engineer, past president, you know, and I don't want to go dizzy. But it's really an honor being here today. And I kept asking, yeah, why do you guys want me to be here? Because me, I'm a small boy sitting at my small corner thinking some crazy stuff that we want to change our country and push it through the continent to really drive real economic growth through agriculture. So me, I like to sit at my small corner. Yeah, I said, don't say you're a small boy. Don't say you're a small boy. What you're doing makes sense. And I'm really happy to be here. Normally, when you give me free space, I can say so many things. And so my team decided that when you're going, we're going to give you something so that you can read and share with the audience. So please permit me to read what we had put together. But watching this video, and I'll start from that point. And that quote is a quote from my board chairman, Nana Joe Mensah. The last time I checked, everybody eats. And if we're going to eat, then we need to really do it well and do it responsibly, do it sustainably. And what I've come to realize about agriculture is that, and I'll share the story with you, and maybe I'll take maybe 2 minutes to share with you as well, so that it'll help you to understand why maybe we all do not pay attention to agriculture very well. I was part of, so please don't pull your calculator, start calculating my age. I can tell you if you ask me. I was part of the second batch of the JSS that was started. Very practical. We got our hands dirty. So when it is craft, you go do your craft. And I can make leather bags, leather wallets now, if you ask me to. And then I got into the agriculture space. We made our own seed beds, and then we started growing lettuce, cabbages, and all of that. That for me was like, aha, this is the thing that I want. Then my father somewhere teaching in another country calls his friends and say, hey, don't let that boy continue that thing. Take him to a regular secondary school. Because that time we all know what was happening. So people were confused with that O-level, A-level, and all of that. So yeah, we were called secondary school. That was it. So you go to secondary school. So I left. And when I got into the secondary school at my O-level, Form 4, to choose my subject, I love numbers. So I was like, okay, my father is an accountant. He later retired at KNUST as a deputy finance officer. So, okay, it will be easier because I get him to teach me at home. You know, so I started doing accounting, economics, and then, but I still read agriculture and wrote O-level agriculture because there was something in there, because I had been introduced to something that connects with me. Fast forward, after O-level, I went to him and said, I want to go to agri college, which was weird. He says, look, finish the A-level. If you want to go to agri college, we can talk about it. Because I was thinking, which normal young boy would want to go to agri college? But I had seen something in all my life. Now I started thinking, I want to have a big commercial farm and all of that. Potentially also, I was seeing some numbers, and also I've been exposed to certain magazines, seeing American farmers on tractors and all of that. So I was thinking like that. I'm coming to the engineering part now. So after A-level, finally we got, but I had to work with him for 2 years, set up a family business in juices, which currently my big brother is running the business now. We've been in that business since 1996. When I finished A-levels till now, my big brother is also running the family business. During that time, getting even simple squeezes, we had to go to India. And I said something earlier. My father worked at a university, KNUST, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology.
We had to go to India. Now we had to bring some of the machines, try to get some of the TCC guys at UST to help us, but we're still having challenges. And what I have also come to believe is that our engineers, and please, you can beat me all you want. That's why I don't want to be outside. I say it as how I see it. I think we are not really looked at food and agriculture as one of the key areas that we need to pay attention to. So over the years, going through all my life, doing all work and all of that, and then somebody told me about a program that is about to start, and he thinks that I'm one person that can help develop this program. That was the KIC that was developed by Cosmos Energy. Now it has become a not-for-profit organization. And what was the idea? The idea was to really tap into young people's creativity, to really look into the challenges that we have in the agricultural value chains and bring creative solutions to it. And I said, I'm on. Why? Because I was trying to find ways to do so many things. In 2000, I created an account, Yahoo Gyan-Kesse 2000 at yahoo.com. I didn't know anything about computers. What I was trying to do was, I had seen simulations of certain things, but I was looking at how we can do that. I had had a training at University of Ghana, and they had talked about plantains and why we actually do not have plantains at a certain time in the year. How do we even plant plantains? How do we even do simulations that helps you to get certain angles, know the angles of wind that is coming or the speed that is coming, etc. Our smallholder farmers are planting plantains every day. They are falling the next day. We do not have enough. And we think that plantain does well only in one season or 1.5 seasons. Technology and innovations can really tell you differently. But we have our engineers on this side fixing roads, fixing the building, but you have forgotten the first principle, food. It's a food, shelter, clothing, and the other things, right? Clothing, other things that comes afterward. So food is really important. And tonight, I'm actually here to tell you that if we are looking at feeding Ghana responsibly, we should really take that big step and make sure that we're doing, because engineering is really needed in the agricultural space. When I was listening to your anthem, what kept going through my mind, and one word that was that kept coming to me was capable. We're capable, and we should be able to do this. And so I am really encouraging you and really happy that you have decided to take the step into this area to make sure that now engineering is focusing on agriculture. And I'll take a moment to tell you a few things about KIC and what we've done in the agricultural value chain, especially when it comes to engineering. Currently, we have companies that have actually built tractors. And I was sharing that with incoming president or president in waiting. And these were built by not engineers, local fabricators, and 3 young people with fire in their belly, as we call it at KIC. And I believe that if these young people had engineers backing them, they can really take this to the next level. And that is what we need. Now, the whole idea is to get this tractor at a price point of less than $5,000 that will allow many young people and many young farmers, many smallholder farmers be able to afford it and mechanize their farm, bring efficiency into the space so that what the development that agriculture can drive for our country and we so need can be done. There's a company called 3 Farm Mates, and what they have done, exciting stuff. Now they have built a robotic planter with AI, and now the AI, they've really now mastered it, and it's so solid that you just put the planter on and then you just set it off. So now they're going to help smallholder farmers reduce the cost of planting, because now they don't need to go and look for plenty young people to look for dibbers, and then they'll be dibbing and somebody is following the robotic planter is going out there to do it for them. Imagine that all of these things are picked up and supported by our dear engineers and really skilled up across the continent. Food security, food sovereignty, we are going to really get there. I mentioned the tractor, so I'll talk about Agro Harvest Ease.
Cashew harvesters have been brought into the space. We have had young people turning cashew fruits into the waste fruit into ethanol. Now they are currently around 86. We're hoping that they can really engineer, and it's all about engineering. The only reason they have not really hit the 90%, 100% for them to really get into that ethanol space for our health, industry and all of that is that some small engineering, now they have to go and buy machines from China. How are we looking into this space? So there are a lot of opportunities that I believe that once now we have turned our attention to agriculture, our dear engineers, you can really help our country to really do so many things. When it comes to soils interventions, for instance, we have a young company that has developed a test tube for farmers. Farmers just pick their soil with some radiants, they put it in the test tube, shake it, and then it's able to give them. These are simple things that can help our agricultural industry grow. And then we can have a lot of food and people will make money, and then they might not even be thinking Galamsey is a good Russian. And I know that the keynote speaker, very passionate around that space, would also be talking about that. So when it comes to even structure, we have a company called TechShelter. You saw one video that these young people were using the AI to monitor their spaces. TechShelter also have built something similar, but for greenhouses. You can monitor your greenhouse from wherever you are in the world, the soil, texture, watering, fertigation, et cetera, and these tools were just built right here in this country. So basically, I just want to say that there's so many opportunities for us here and for us to collaborate. And Madam MC, yes, we will be in Ho in March. And even before Ho, I also want to invite you to Kumasi. And I want to invite you to Kumasi for one interesting thing that we have set up. And today, this morning, I had the opportunity to be at Design Technology Institute. How many of us know Design Technology Institute? DTI, great. I mean, they've had a new certification, American certification for welding and all of that, and brilliant work that Constance and the team are doing with a lot of young people. And we should be volunteering some time to spend with these young people, because these are you'll be amazed at kind of ideas and how even 10, 15 minutes conversations with these young people can do for them and what they're trying to build for the country. And I'm inviting you on behalf of Cosmos Innovation Center to Kumasi, because we have built this Center of Excellence that has 6 centers, 24 hours services and operations for everybody who wants to access the place, most importantly for young people. We have Food Innovation Center where a young person can just walk in and say, I have this crazy food idea and I want to do it. My parents used to do it this way. My grandfather used to do it this way. I want to modernize it and bring it to the market. There are labs that you can do all those research, and then there's also a space for you that you don't need to go and spend money to buy all the equipment, but you can work in that area, build some resources to say, now I'm okay, after 2 years working in this space, I can go and then get my own equipment. That's the Food Innovation Center. We have the mechatronics labs that you can do all the crazy ideas and building, and also automated. We have so you can do all your 3D printings and modeling. We have the metal fabrication, wood fabrication. We've done the 3D drawings also as well. So we have the design labs, etc. I believe a great collaboration between the Institute and organizations like GhIE and many others. And I say many others because GhIE is not the only organization trying this, making a lot of effort. Many other organizations like GhIE can really help us and drive real change and real improvement in our agricultural value chain. And I believe when we do that, when we sleep, we will sleep. And I tell you a quick story before I introduce the keynote speaker. Me, my own is just to, clear the way, the path. I'm the John the Baptist, the Christ himself is about coming. I worked at TechnoServe for some time, for about 2 to 3 years. going forward, I just decided that the entrepreneur in me, I'm going to do my own business. And I had to meet a client in front of Opoku House at the airport residential area. 11 a.m. Some two boys on motorbike drew knife, machete, and gun. They robbed me. 11 a.m. I was so confused. And I can tell you till date, when I see motorbike coming close to me, I get really agitated. I really want to, I get my defenses all on. Fast forward, and this happened in 2010, 2011. 2024, I had gone to work with some of our partners. So we work with 16 universities and colleges across the country. So I'd gone to GhIE, and I like to take my walks. So I was taking a walk, and I saw a young man on the jungle bike, and it was quite noisy. And the guy was well built, and he started coming straight at me. I got scared, I don't lie to you, because I was thinking about my experience at Opoku House. Then this guy slowed down, stopped completely, took his helmet off, and said, "Oh, good evening, sir. I am the CEO of Regiona. We just got funded from GhIE just last month at the final pitch." And it was a sigh of relief, but I also felt very proud. And I said to myself, if we're creating lots and lots and lots of opportunities for young people, the same motorbike somebody used to rob me, and the same motorbike somebody is saying thank you, and we had come to do research here. So our young people want to do stuff. They need guidance. And in this room, the level of wisdom, the amount of wisdom I can feel even standing here, looking around, we can do amazing stuff for our country. So please, I invite you, and you have started a good thing. Let us push the paddles and make it and take it further along. Thank you very much. It is my singular honor to introduce the keynote speaker. I have his profile here, and I just looked at it. I'm like, do I have to read everything? He says no, but I want to say something. This is a gentleman that I've admired from afar so many years. The things sometimes I dream of doing, he's doing. The things I want to say, I'm afraid to say, he's saying. And you have no idea how many people that you've inspired to come out of their shells to really talk about national issues. Or even in our small corners, we actually do things because we know that there's somebody like Senyo Hosi really pushing this agenda of speak truth to power. Let us all try a little bit to do things right. Let us all try a little bit to do things ethically. And if we do that, we do good for ourselves. So it is my singular pleasure, honor, to introduce to you your keynote speaker, Mr. Senyo Hosi, who is the founder and executive chairman of GhIE and TELV Limited. Please, keynote speaker. Big round of applause.
Thank you.
Please, you may sit. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you very much. I also took note of what they said earlier. Capable. So that keeps ringing in my head. I'll humbly ride on the protocols that my predecessors on this podium had actually expressed because of time. But I definitely have to acknowledge the chairman, guest speaker, and the presidents and the council members, all protocol observed. It's an honor to be here. For starters, I'm a disappointed petrochemical engineer. And I ended up becoming the head of a body that had to supervise petrochemical engineers and their activities in the petrochemical space. Kind of weird. So the same motto matter. Life can go back in different ways. I ended up being an advisor to 4 energy ministers across opposing parties. And today my business also still has a lot to do with petrochemical engineering. It also has some to do with agric. I'm quite a heavy investor in the agric space as well. So I don't come just as an external person to the topic. I am a part of this story. The Ghan people have a saying that koya kolie. Are the Ghan people here? It will be a baby here. Oh, me of your koya kolie. Oh, baya. I mean, to it, if you say you will not go to the Kole Lagoon, you still go. And I said I won't go to the engineering. I'm here. So I'm supposed to maybe apply for the what is it, a companion or associate, whatever it is, you know. Other than that, I've been a member of this association or this body, and here would have been home if fate had not steered me away from engineering. In my opinion, engineering is the practical application of science and mathematics. It transforms nature's resources into our daily realities. We wake up on a bed that is engineered. In a home, that's also engineered. The truth is, to get the clothes that we are wearing, it also needed engineering. We access water and electricity, that is also engineered. We get transported by engineering while talking, texting, browsing over our phones, which are also engineered. Through microphones and speaking through microphones right now, also engineered. Wherever you go, wherever you look, engineering day everywhere. I said this just to remind you of the power that you possess. To remind you that our civility and viability as a people, as you see today, exists because you exist. Your profession makes the world and this particular country go round. You make this world work. You make us work. So I charge you today, not just to be engineers only, but active in the spaces of policy where what should be engineered is often defined. Often the definition of what should be engineered does not involve the engineers. It's quite a pity in our part of our world. You are too important a group of people to be reactive and for you to stay aloof. It is not acceptable. As a matter of fact, it is a disgrace. Our topic today, feeding Ghana responsibly, the ethical role of engineers, situates 2 key questions. One being how we feed Ghana responsibly, and that in itself is an ethical question because responsibility also comes with ethical considerations. I'm a student of philosophy. And the next will be what exactly the role of engineers should be. But as a significant investor in this particular space and with a passion for public policy, I'm excited about it, but I also don't want to be tempted and veer into the realm of a full dissertation, which I could easily do. But don't worry, I will not do it at all. We have to leave here in a short while. So hopefully maybe in the next 35 minutes, we should be out of here, or at least on my part. Government recently launched the Feed Ghana program as its flagship agricultural program. I don't know how many of you here have seen the policy document. This is the Institute of Engineers, Institution of Engineering. Yeah, I got it right. Have you seen the document? Have you reviewed it? This is supposed to be the country's flagship agricultural program. The Constitution in Article 1, Clause 1 states that the sovereignty of Ghana resides in the people of Ghana, in whose name and for whose welfare the powers of government are to be exercised in the manner and within the limits laid down in that Constitution. How do we talk welfare of a people without the necessities of our survival? It's totally impossible. So feeding Ghana and doing so responsibly is cardinal to the mandate for which we, the people, choose to form a government. So let's start by assessing how we are faring. According to the World Bank, Ghana's arable land per capita stands at 0.14 hectares. This is well higher than the 0.09 held by China, higher than Vietnam's 0.07 and the Netherlands 0.06. But guess what? These countries are major sources for our processed food, meat, dairy products, vegetables, staples like rice. In the midst of loss of fresh water, we must admit the truism that, as our former president said, yet is a castle, that's what come the year. What really has held us back from feeding the world, or at a minimum our own self, or if we want to go for, even this West Africa we are sitting in, which actually has an average of 61.6% of its population moderately or severely food insecure. It is depressing to know that the continent with the most arable land, about 60% of it globally, remains the most food insecure. Undoubtedly, I must be going a bit ahead of myself. I've not even covered my Ghana first. I'm talking about the world. So question, where do we stand? We must learn to definitely crawl before we walk. So let's look at some important data. And we'll look at the state of food insecurity report. They've changed it, found a way to rather look state of food security, not insecurity, and nutrition, but it's still a SOFI report, the SOFI 2025 report. I think it was released a few months ago. It tells us that in the past 3 years, an average of 15 million of our own people, Ghanaians, have been moderately or severely food insecure. When you are moderately food insecure, you don't get the food, but it's occasionally maybe you'll be skipping just because you want to survive. I eat today, I don't eat tomorrow. I eat only one today, not because you can't, you cannot sit up. What is really scary is that this is almost a 40% increase from the situation in 2016. 4 million people have joined this problem. It used to be 11 million. Has our population grown by 40%? The last time I checked, we are still under 20% from that time to today. So how come is it that we are having our situation worsening? Simply put, we are getting more food insecure as the years go by. Interestingly, the data gets scarier when you look at the outcomes for only severe food insecurity. Not those who can get one and say, maybe I eat in the morning, I'll eat again, I'll do 0, 1, 0, or 0, 0, 1. No, this was 0, 0, 0. It used to be 1.5 in 2016. As at last year, it is 3.2 million, a staggering 113% increase. After all the policy interventions, and it's good that the Kuafua downfall is here. The interventions of planting for food and jobs 1, planting for food and jobs 2, FASDEP 1, FASDEP 2, GhIE this, GCAP that. Our welfare relative to food has simply gotten worse. So, Mr. Chief Technical Advisor, please tell Mr. Minister that we now, who has not given us a new slogan, though it's less fanciful, called Feed Ghana Program. We are totally tired of jargons and PR branding of policies that in real terms reflect less on our humanity and welfare of we the people. Things must change and things must be engineered differently. The situation is increasingly urgent. Food is a necessity for all of us as survival. And like you said, we all eat. Our insecurity of food is an insecurity of our own statehood. It's a national security crisis. A country that can't feed itself will struggle to sustain itself. So fixing this cannot be described any less than desperately urgent. Before I discuss the issue of feeding Ghana responsibly, let's situate agri properly in the scheme of our broader policy making and politicking. The government in the launch of the FGP acknowledges the FGP is the Feed Ghana program, the acronym for it. Acknowledges that the place of agri, it recognizes the relevance of it properly in speak. But at least this is just speak for now, because we've heard all kinds of terminologies before. So please bear with me. I don't intend to be derogatory, but you're only speaking English for now. We are here to see the action, and it's truly early days, so we accept that. The program's blueprint states that, I quote, the agricultural sector remains a key driver of Ghana's economy, employing 38.3% of the total workforce and providing raw material for industry. It also accounts for approximately 21% of the national gross domestic product. In the past 8 years, agricultural GDP grew at an average annual rate of 5.6%, reaching a high of 8.5% in 2020 and declining to its lowest of 2.8% in 2024. Decline after all the that and that. We still decline. His Excellency the President also, in his forward, further situates the matter in his first paragraph, and when he says, and I quote, agriculture remains the backbone of Ghana's economy. Agriculture is not merely a means of livelihood, but a cornerstone of our national identity, our culture, and our future prosperity. Despite its immense potential, the sector faces persistent challenges, including low uptake of technology, climate-related shocks, limited irrigation and related infrastructure, as well as limited access to finance and market access. These are the words of the president. He continues, he says, the Feed Ghana program is the government's flagship initiative designed to accelerate the transformation and modernization of the agricultural sector. It emerges at a time when food security and improved nutrition is not only a development goal, but a critical component of national resilience and sovereignty, unquote. This brings to me three key things, and they emerge on me. One is that the desperate urgency that I referred to relative to food security is clearly live at the top as far as policy is concerned. If the president is acknowledging that, it means they are very much aware. The second is the realization of the transformative potential of agriculture. And the third, the place of agriculture in the future of our prosperity and also for posterity. Forgive me to revert to the Constitution. One Ghana movement, which I'm a convener for, well, we do a lot of citizen responsibility issues. So 1, 2, 3, no Constitution matter. Pocket lawyers is on. I quote in the preamble, in exercise of our natural and inalienable right to establish a framework of government which shall secure for ourselves and posterity the blessings of liberty, equality, of opportunity, and prosperity, unquote. This is a reminder to all of us of what the goals for which our Constitution was birthed. The realization of prosperity is part of the reason why we formed a state called Ghana, and we formed a democracy under a constitution we call the 1992 Constitution. Consequently, if His Excellency the President and us all here realize the place of agriculture in ensuring prosperity for not just the now, but for posterity, then it is a constitutional duty for us to ensure we win in agriculture, not just in talk, but in reality, and for the transformation of our own people. Of all the sectors in the economy, agriculture stands out. I want to see your eyes. Agriculture stands out as the most practical. You're a politician. Of all the sectors, I've done petroleum. I've traded almost everything. It's only human beings haven't sold yet. Agriculture stands out as the most practical in achieving economic transformation within a 4-year electoral cycle. Nanado came 8 years, he couldn't find one well. honestly, agric is what you can drive economic transformation easily of all the sectors you have. So there's a need for a certain agency in there. For starters, we all eat. And that gives you demand straight there because it is a necessity. We have 8 sure planting seasons in a electoral cycle. And that is if you want to act basic. Optimally, you can move that to 12. And the interventions required for the most part are situatable within an electoral cycle. So agric serves as the bedrock for both industry as well as for our own livelihoods. And also looking at it from a primary and secondary input level, ensure serves the base for industry's labor itself. So fixing agric is a sure winner, and we must fix it. Our inability to fix agric makes no sense yesterday, today, tomorrow, and forevermore. It can't make sense that we sit in the middle of water, arable land, and we are hungry. 50 million of our people. Do we have a heart? With your permission, I wish to proceed to address the question, how do we feed Ghana responsibly? To feed a nation responsibly, in my opinion, is to assure supply of food through production to meet current needs of consumption by the people for their sustenance of life, and also by industries to spur economic productivity, employment, and sustainability. It is to meet surpluses required for supply shocks during planned and unplanned crises. It is to assure the quality of produce and the sustainability of production for posterity. This requires a careful navigation of the triangle, a triangle of responsible production, distribution, and pricing, all engulfed by responsible planning. So let's start with production. Responsible production is anchored on 2 things. One, the quantity, the other one is the quality of food output. So let's take MOFE's data. It indicates that out of the 13.2 million hectares of agricultural land, only 1.72%, 226,909, is irrigated. We are still riding on Kwame Nkrumah's irrigated fields done by some Russians who can't locate themselves anymore. And what's worse, a good part of this is considered informal irrigation. The formal irrigation, largely driven by government, is about 0.001%. I don't need to ask the question, but you can ask and answer for yourself. Do we look like a people who are serious about agric? The MOFE's recent facts and figures of agric publication 2021 reports the following as the actual yields to potential ratio. So I'll start with cassava. Cassava is doing 52.82%. Plantain, and you are right, 36.29%, because we think that we don't plant that thing, we go at the wrong time and the wind will blow it somewhere. Charlie, why? Didn't we go to school? Yam, 35.85%. Cocoa yam, 37.7%. Maize, 46%. Yeah, bro. We still cannot even make almost 90% of our potential. Rice, 53.33%. And I tell you, that data is a lie. I'm a rice farmer. I've done one of the most in the Volta region before. Cowpea, 66.8%. Soybean, 57.67%. Like I said, as a major rice farmer before minor one today, I can tell you for sure that that 33.2 metric ton hectare, Mr. Technical is a lie. Even you yourself, you have changed it in your FGP. You've come to 2.6. So why do you give us facts and figures? The data you give us for we businessmen to go and invest, they are so, but the lie is too much. I'll tell you my story. I went into SA, I was telling him, with a certain estimation of yield and output in a certain region, I put 3,000 ton silo with a primary processing facility. I struggled with the engineers to install it. But I got some people to help me here locally. But eventually I had to bring White Oyibo to come and do his thing. It's a problem. And you've done all these things, and that 30,000 tons you can't see, but it's in the book. Then you come and tell us that we are producing 40% of local rice. He said, I had about 1,500 acres of rice. I had one of the largest storage facilities. Nobody came to ask me what my actual output was. So how did you get your data? They'll go and let me tell you what they do. They'll come and check your mill. What's your mill capacity? Your mill capacity is 10 tons per hour. Multiply by 8 hours. By 365, you have produced the whole year. This is what we are living with. Engineers, this is what we are all living with. Clearly, if we are doing this productivity, and bear in mind, all this data I mentioned is all rain-fed based. So if rain-fed base has this potential, and we are still even for rain-fed, we are not even getting rain-fed potential that much, and we are doing below 60% and below 40% for some. Clearly, how do you score these people? A, B, C, D, E, F. Is GhIE? We are a big fail. And we've been doing this for so long with so many, interventions, and still we are making no progress. If we were even able to feed ourselves with this level of productivity, it may not have been as bad. They will be talking about things else we could do. But we can't even feed ourselves, and yet still we are not improving this part. There's a problem somewhere in our policy making. And you remember while we're having this conversation, 45% of our own kith and kin, our own fellow Ghanaians, are food insecure. You take the data from the Statistical Service. It tells us that imports of food account for 13.7% of our total merchandise imports. Food. That's $2.2 billion a year. I hope nobody was asking me how much we went to IMF for. 1 billion a year for 3 years. But 2.2 billion is what we are importing for food. Now let's discuss the things inside that food. When you review the composition of these imports, grains, largely wheat, 100% wheat. Why are we eating wheat, which we don't produce? Why are we not having corn flour for our bread? The next is cereals, like we tend to do maize, we bring in rice, we do poultry, and we do others like gas, bladders, and stomachs. Yemuade is number 2 ranking. Yemuade. Ghana. Number 2. After I think grains is Yemuade. We did. The more you review this data, the sadder you become. So if you don't laugh about it, you will die for nothing. The comparative output for countries like the US and China on a per hectare basis for a key staple like maize is 11 tons. Guess what we are doing? 2.5. We still have scientists and we have engineers and we have politicians. The politicians are doing the agric more than the engineers and the scientists. So when you sit in an environment like that, you get 2.5 tons. So where are the engineers and where are our scientists? What is clear is that if we optimize our practices alone, through mechanization, science, and infrastructure, we can practically double our current output over the same acreage of land. That is what this data is telling us. And this data is your data, which means I know that you have even rigged it. And you to make it look better. So if we even take our own right now, and we just fix the science, the engineering around it, the mechanization around it, we get better. And now this is even rain-fed based. Can you imagine what we achieve through irrigation? I discussed the quality of food, and that one, I was always going to bring somebody called Galamsey inside the matter. The recent studies that were done by Pure Earth and EPA are showing an increasing poisoning of our food with poisonous metals like mercury, lead, arsenic finding their way into our tubers and vegetables, thanks to irresponsible and illegal mining, Galamsey. We have moved from poisoning our water, destroying our farmlands, to now destroying our food. All this is happening right under our own eyes. And the sad part is some of us will sit in Accra and feel so distant from this reality of life of our brothers in the hinterlands that are so affected. Let's wait till we cannot buy our kontomire anymore. We can't buy our yams anymore. We can't buy our cassavas anymore. Maybe those of us in Accra, that's when we'll start learning sense. Whatever affects the least of us in our society tells on us and what kind of people we are. Galamsey is not destroying our food quality. This is no way to feed Ghana responsibly. What are we doing about it? I have heard a number of people argue, like you said, we're talking about about alternative livelihoods for Galamsey work hands. Media, when I hear that thing, I laugh. Talk to the Galamseyers. A number of them are now my friends. Yeah. They come and they say, would you only grow the gra? How many jobs in Ghana can pay laborers 3,000 to 10,000 cedis per week? How much did you get yourself this week? You see, Galamsey poses an existential crisis that must be stopped immediately and ruthlessly. You can't go around it with this plenty English. Alternate livelihood. You can't alternate it. Look, I don't fight mining. I fully believe that we must optimize our resources. But I fight irresponsible mining. I'm here to see a paper and advocacy by the Ghana Institute of Engineers, Institution of Engineering, on the possibility of re-engineering Galamsey activities to eliminate its environmental negativity. Engineers move the world. Your passiveness in this matter is too loud. I saw something you tried to write in 2017. We haven't heard from you again, but you are the engineers. Hey. Distribution. Food insecurity is about access to food, which is not only determined by rigidities in production, but also in distribution. So we can produce and may not get to the location. So we need our roads and storage facilities to move what we produce to our people to access and meet food needs. We need efficient storage facilities to hold buffers for us as a country to meet our needs in times of crisis, whether it's drought or whatever. A recent study by GhIE, the International Growth Center, directed by the University of Oxford and the London School of Economics, reports that approximately 30% of food spoils before reaching consumers or retailers. This study was focused on fruits and vegetables. The Ministry of Agriculture through the FGP gave us even more serious data, scarier data. And let's take note, this particular IGC one even suggests that it goes up to 45%. The FGP acknowledges that post-harvest losses remain extremely high, with estimates for vegetables ranging from 34% to 62%, depending on the vegetable type. And for cereals, 16 to 34%. It cites key contributory factors as lack of appropriate harvesting machinery, poor post-harvest handling, limited storage infrastructure, and low value addition, most of which engineering should definitely help cure. Inadequate infrastructure is also cited as a reason that hinders the realization of the potential of agric. Limited infrastructure as irrigation, feeder roads. My brother who prayed for us works at feeder road. We have a lot of oh no, you are the one rather. Okay. Please, your prayer is safe. You can, no problem. So our vice president works with feeder road. I used to sit on the highways authority board. So we'll have a lot of conversation. We need the feeder roads to really get foods to farm centers. The high cost of energy is a problem. Warehouses, pack houses are all constraints to agricultural production, marketing, and processing. A study by this man, the CEO of Agri Impacts Limited, is a celebrated expert in the sector. Mr. Daniel Fahine, I don't know him personally, Akwe, suggests that our post-harvest losses are about $2 billion per year, equivalent to the $2.2 billion of food we are importing every year. There's definitely a policy shortfall. There's something there. It's a problem. There's some thinking problem somewhere. The big question, can we re-engineer our management of the sector to reverse this situation? I don't see why we can't. I know engineers here will be shouting, the money, but I'll come to the money very soon. Pricing. Before I even start, I'll share another very sad data for you. In this SOFI 2025 report, it tells us that it's sad. Over 22 million of our people cannot afford a healthy diet. That's about 66% thereabout of our people. You caught 10 Ghanaians, 6 of them, almost 7, cannot afford a healthy diet. So let's assume we've solved the problem of production, we've solved the problem of distribution. What happens if the price outpaces the economic ability to pay? No show for sure, even though we all eat. Fiscal access is one thing, but economic access is another, and it's also critical to food security. Pricing in the agricultural sector is influenced by a complex interplay of factors, including production cost, market demand, the efficiency of distribution networks. When science and engineering of agri is inefficient, let's take this line quite seriously. When science and engineering of agri is inefficient, infrastructure and logistics stay lacking, productivity and cost efficiency would absolutely tank. If we don't get our engineering right, we don't manage our costs right, which is also a function of engineering and politics. I don't want to say corruption. There's no way we can get right our cost of food. These inefficiencies, they suppress entrepreneurial investment and rack up the cost of production, which only can be sustained by higher prices. And the higher the prices, the hungrier our people will be. We cannot feed Ghana responsibly if the cost of production is not optimized to sustainably yield affordable prices to ensure economic access to food is banned. In summary, we must optimize our yields and production, invest efficiently in distribution and storage, and with the right market structures, achieve sustainable and affordable prices to ensure physical and economic access to food for our people. I read all this, I look at this, I see engineering everywhere. Like we started, everywhere you look, everything you do, engineering, everywhere. We talk about the state of our money matters. Let me go. My script was strongly edited because they say my mouth booms. But I gave them the edited copy and I brought my own. So my wife has been sent here to police me. We have done, boss, look at this 60,000 thing you wanted to go and you wanted to go and do in one place. One silo, only one place, the whole Ghana, one place. Where's the efficiency in that matter? A place that can't even produce to feed that. Meanwhile, we have so many silos everywhere. The procurement mentality in that your ministry, if you don't fix it, we'll never fix our food security problem. The cost of food will always go up. And you have a fundamental problem anytime you think about Greek. You think about Greek in a very socialist perspective, whether it's NDC or NPP, they don't have any identity. NDC, they don't, all of them, they don't have any identity. The identity is vote. Look, it makes no sense. Greek is not a place for employment. For meaningful living wages, and I speak as an economic policy analyst, you should be looking about industry. But Greek must provide a base for industry. But you keep running policies thinking of how to keep people sitting there within their 2-acre lands, and you come and tell us that you are smallholder lover. Please, I don't need you to be smallholder lover. I need you to love the country. Make sure Ghana can get the right quantity of food at the optimal price. But you can't do that if you're not doing proper commercial farming. If you continue this thing we are doing, I don't know how they say something, you'll be tickling your own self and be laughing. We can't continue like this. We have gone to school. Let's act like people who went to school. I'm sorry. It wasn't on the scripts, but I have to go. Let me go back to the script. So there's a philosophical problem in our governance, and it's not about NDC MPP. It's off. Thankfully, at least this silo matter I'm raising, you are telling me today you are splitting it, sending some part to Atebubu, you know, and then it's okay, but it shouldn't be so. We should actually even break that into 3 and look at the cost. When you spend that money that you're going to spend on a thing like that, are you the only ones who have built a silo? You think we don't know the cost of a silo? Why? When people do this, you are depriving one feeder road to move products from one point to another. So the thing, we know that this politics, some things must happen. There should be sense in the happening. There's no sense in this kind of happening. Let me go back to my script. The ethical role of engineers. Article 41 of the 1992 Constitution details expressly the duties of us as citizens. I quote, "The exercise and enjoyment of rights and freedoms is inseparable from the performance of duties and obligations, and accordingly, it shall be the duty of every citizen, including engineers and politicians and agripreneurs and talkers like myself." D, I've skipped some. The ones that are relevant is what I'm taking. D, to respect the rights, freedoms, and legitimate interests of others and generally refrain from doing acts detrimental to the welfare of other persons. When we fail in our professional duties to optimize what we should do, we are depriving people, fellow Ghanaians, a duty of care. Whether it's in our advice, it's in our policy decisions, it's in our aloofness. He says to work conscientiously in his lawfully chosen occupation, which in your case is engineering. F, to protect and preserve public property and expose and combat misuse and waste of public funds and property. The most guilty people in this country over waste of public funds and property are not politicians, they are engineers. And we shall discuss that. That's my big brother. Well, to contribute to the well-being of the community where the citizen lives and to defend Ghana and render national services where necessary. That one, I'll commend this institution. You volunteered engineers for us. Is Atu Roberts here? Is Magnus Asiedu here? Let's give them a round of applause. At the height of COVID, we called on you and you nominated these people to work for us. At the first meeting, when we put the story together, there were a number of engineers who ran away, but these 2 people, they stayed. Oh, Atu Roberts is there. Okay. Let's give him a big round of applause. They worked when people were afraid to even open their doors, to even see what's outside. They were even thinking that if you see COVID, to enter your eyes. People were afraid, but these guys were there. We worked 24 hours. And we delivered, thanks to the engineering of your institution, a 100-bed world-class infectious disease center in less than 100 days, fully equipped. It tells you what you are capable of doing if you set yourselves to it. It also tells us to protect and safeguard the environment, and that will bring me my matter of Galamsey. The engineer's code of conduct identifies honesty, justice, and integrity as the moral base and foundation of the profession's ethics. This and the directives of the 1992 Constitution I mentioned earlier must form the ethical base around which engineers contribute to national development. And for this particular topic, how we feed Ghana responsibly. Agriculture feeds a nation, but engineering builds the system that make feeding possible. Agriculture and engineering are deeply interconnected, as engineers play a critical role in designing, developing, maintaining the technologies that drive modern food production. From irrigation systems to even planning and organizing your farmland, to farm machinery, to food processing, storage solutions, the expertise of engineers ensures efficiency, sustainability, and safety throughout the agri value chain. So by upholding strong ethical standards, engineers help guarantee that innovations in agriculture are not only effective, but also economically viable, environmentally responsible, and socially equitable. But our problem has to do with the passiveness of our engineers in this country. The GhIE, in my opinion, and let me look for the closest door so that in case I see the women are here, they'll be nicer. There are more men here, so I think the exit should be this way. The GhIE must grow beyond being just some licensing body into what engineers are actually made for: changing, shaping, and transforming the world. The body of engineers cannot opt to live like an appendix, less understood and not critical to life. Engineering is responsible for the world and the civilization we have today. China, the world superpower, has 40% of its graduates being STEM graduates. That's over 3.57 million STEM graduates annually. That's more than Ghana's population, 10% of Ghana's population every year. And out of this STEM, you have almost half being engineers, about 1.4 to 1.6 million students, graduates. China has a lot of emphasis on engineering, and that particular emphasis on it reflects its strategic focus on industrialization, innovation, and global competitiveness. Engineers for key sectors: manufacturing, infrastructure, renewable energy, AI, telecoms. And guess what? Guess what share they have for politics and law? 7% of graduates. Please, you must stop seeing yourself as supportive of solving the problems in Ghana. You are the solution to the problem. The GhIE and its membership must be forward-looking and assertive in the direction of policy, which today is dominated by non-STEM actors. I am a non-STEM actor. I'm not spiting anybody. I'm telling you facts. You have to be assertive in the direction of policy, which today is dominated by non-STEM actors. While I will admit that you do not need a STEM to lead, but to win, we sure need STEM actors to envisage, shape, and direct the trajectory of leadership for Ghana to win. So please stop staying aloof. You are breaching the Constitution's call on you to be a responsible citizen. I read the Feed Ghana program acknowledgements. To my surprise, GhIE was missing. Even CSOs were mentioned. Respectfully, where have you been? I don't know who asked me to come here, but the person who asked me to come here and those who agreed in particular should have known that when I come here, I will talk the thing unfiltered. The most powerful people in this country have been sleeping. This matter, I won't debate it. You are sleeping. Do you remember what it took you to enter that school? These people were the finest brains. So when they take the thing, the JSS one is 6 ones. They have to get 8 ones, 12 ones, 10 ones. The A level, you have to get like 3, 4, 8, 3, 8. Mass. Add mass. Oh, my guys. You people were the finest brains. The rest of us did the rest. What? And I think you must look within and transform. This is not something I can debate with you. I won't waste my time. You either take it or leave it. You definitely must reposition yourselves and place yourself for proper impact can be steep. So please stop this sleep. You are engineers. The Feed Ghana program, which is set to cost about 302 billion over a 4-year period, starting to 2025 to end of 2028. None of its objectives nor sub-programs include developing local mechanization, manufacturing, engineering, support systems, and capacity as a backbone for agricultural transformation for Ghana and beyond the program. None. How do you spend 302 billion and fail to transform the core of modern agriculture, which is engineering, beyond acting as a consumer of engineering? Respectfully, as you sit aloof and fail to capitalize such bold initiatives to make this profession more meaningful and impactful, Ghana seems better with their Swami Magazine engineer apprentices. At least they are doing something at GhIE. What are you doing? English, DYDX, it has not X anything, it hasn't Y anything. Swami Magazine is Y and Xing. They don't know it's DY, but they are doing it. This institution, have you reviewed the FGP? And you call me to come and deliver something on agric. Have you read the document? You definitely have not done it. You've not read it. You don't even know where to find it. So there's no policy position that's advocated by this institution. I took my time to look for the policy position from you. Nothing. Meanwhile, agric and engineering, they go like this. Just in case you are not taking notice, policy is planning and moving on the back of the engineering of other people and not on the engineering of Ghanaian engineers. You have become a digestive system that has been reduced to an appendix. Like I said, less understood and not critical to life. Who is advocating for local fabrication, manufacturing, mechanization? Who is dealing with the key engineering things here? Where are you fitting within this FGP? Are you at the table? So they'll share the thing, you're not even there. This is a major policy intervention. And there's nobody re-engineering solutions that will optimize things for Ghana. Everything, we have to go and look for something from some Eastern European place, from Brazil, from India. Brazil and India, they did and built those capacities that we procure today on the back of their own investments that they are making in their own sector to feed their own people. But our engineers, the smartest in the class, the ones who are collecting the awards, they can't award themselves. This is a major policy. The FGP is a major policy which requires the collective force of this institution to carve right the space for local engineers. So I beg you, take a seat at the table of policy. At some stage, when you reach, you don't do the YDX. Their boys will do it. You must be at the stage of policy so they can shape their future, make life meaningful, and create a path for them. So it is heartbreaking when you look at the agri sector and our monumental failure. After all the gossip, this gossip, that, GhIE that, FGP, PFJ, this, whatever, we have 15 million of our people hungry. We have failed. And I wonder where our engineers are. So who has been advising the politicians? Who has been standing in the gap when politicians opt to act less optimally or less sustainably? What do our engineers do? Media can tell you what I know our engineers in Ghana do. Our engineers defy the honesty, justice, and integrity of the ethical code to meet the political objects of non-STEM actors whose actions breach the Article 41 of our Constitution. I used to serve on the Highways Board. My chairman, an engineer, in identifying with my many frustrations about the suboptimal work of contractors and the unreasonably high cost, once told me this: Senyo, there are no bad engineers, there are no bad contractors. There are only bad engineers. Oh, he said that thing, and I took a step back. I hadn't met Atu Roberts yet. I said, Chairman, why? But as I reflected, I said, Chairman, you are right. Who approves the bills of the contractor? Who confirms the work, the quality of work? Who designs what the contractor does? Who validates that what he has done is optimal? Who? He's an engineer. You see our roads and asphalt, they do them right now. 3 months, it is shoving, it is melting. Have you people summoned the engineer yet? Have you sacked an engineer? Have you told Ghana that you are sacking engineers for that kind of work? Who? You can't even hold yourselves to account. This is a club, it's not an institution. It is a club, it is not an institution. People should be lined up every year and fired out of this institution. License withdrawn. Because you see roads that public money has been used to do, and it is failing. But somebody went to sign so that people's payments will be made and chop will come. If you chop, do the work. But the institution, I don't see it. What are your standards? What processes are you using to hold people properly to account? It is an engineer. That is our problem. If an engineer does not endorse a design that doesn't make sense, it can't be done by a non-STEM actor. When our roads are overpriced, it is an engineer, not a politician. When we overprice, as we seem to do, by over 100 and 200% in some cases, I did some study. Our finance committee chairman, I forced a little study, looked at the World Bank contracts, looked at the sole source contracts, and I saw all these things. 200%. And the monies are not small money. I absolutely speak on this matter on authority. When we do this and we should pretend this, we are depriving Ghana of feeder roads that can reduce our post-harvest losses in a manner that can help feed 3.5 million people who desperately need food. Because we don't see them with our eyes and count them so easily, we think we can chop their money or help people chop their money and walk away. When politicians force our hands as engineers and we sign up to suboptimal engineering solutions to import overpriced equipment, which we can produce locally or acquire cheaper, or we absolutely in certain instances are interfering with the opportunity to build industries. And we are interfering with the opportunity to make it possible for 15 million Ghanaians to become food secure. Even worse is our betrayal of the duty of care we owe emerging and future engineers. The people leave the school, they don't even know what work they are going to do. They want to go and do banking. We should think about it. I mean, and those here, you are the ones anchoring the sector going forward. What are you really leaving behind? What path are we creating? That an FGP has been done, 302 billion has been said, and you don't even know what is inside. And it's a Greek, and you're not even thinking of how you can fit yourself in. Many policy issues are coming up. We don't hear anything. When we hold back our voices on Galamsey and decide to be passive, other than forcefully advise practical engineering solutions, that makes it possible to mine and protect our water bodies, forests, and food. When we fail to do this and we choose to be quiet, we destroy the millions of lives of our own kith and kin who will end up buying that food that is poisoned. You owe this state a duty of care by virtue of the knowledge you have been blessed and graced with. When engineers opt to validate dishonestly a decision to centralize storage facilities in one region at a location at prices so unreasonable, where many storage assets remain underutilized in other regions, you should remember that you are trading lives for political and selfish gains. This is not what the GhIE should stand for. And this one, the Kwafadanfo agrees with me on that one, or this one they agree with me. We can't put all the tea in one place. I can actually go on and on. Love it or hate it. In your quiet, you make sense of it. I have no apologies. I'm sorry though. I do intend to propose, I do not intend to propose solutions for feeding Ghana responsibly. I don't think it's worth it. Because that's not really our problem. You are engineers, you are the brightest of our class. And the answers are so obvious. I've actually said them in different ways. My brother was here earlier. Ben has said them. You are the smartest. It's only the smartest that get to do engineering and medicine. The rest of us, like I said, we did the rest. Am I lying? I'm part of I ran away from the smartest to do the rest. I didn't hear you. So if you are the smartest and you have no voice, then you are a betrayer of the gifts God has graced you. And you are actually a disappointment to society. To whom much is given, much is expected. So I will make no recommendations about feeding Ghana responsibly. It's useless. But I have to make recommendations about how to get you to wake up. Because it is for you to hold us and pull all of us along. When you rise, Ghana will rise. So I recommend this. Wake up from your death and change Ghana. You owe Ghana a duty of care. As GhIE, make it a necessary condition to peer review every work done by engineers in respect of policy interventions at a minimum, and you should charge a fee for it. Such reviews should cover the design optimality, value for money, and execution, among others. Through that, compliance to honesty, justice, professional integrity, and the call for responsible citizenship could be achieved, not just for now, but also for posterity. If every engineer sitting at the Ministry of Agri or the road sector knows that his work will be subjected to this institution's review, he will not be just taking anything from a politician or some non-STEM actor. The person would not say, yeah, I want to do it too, but I will lose my license because the police people will come. You even give him strength and an excuse to walk the right path. But our roads go defunct. The potholes, they just go bad overnight. Nobody, no engineer is held accountable. Did we go or did we come? The third recommendation is that you must realize that there's no impact in being passive. There's zero impact. Impact in being passive, there's no value in it. The people who have to pretend to be passive are those who are stealing money. They don't want to be seen. I know a number of them. Proper businessmen who steal money, you don't see them. But those are not engineers. You don't steal money, you transform society. So keeping passiveness will deliver no impact. This institution must transform into an institution of honest advocacy, research, policy assurance, and learning. In the world of policy, and I speak as a lecturer of policy, if you do not speak you will not be heard. So shape right your communication and policy analysis arm as an institution. Engineers must decide whether to play a transformative role or remain an appendage. That choice is yours. That's a choice that the smartest people in our country will have to make. And so far, the smartest people are making the least smart choice. So I pray thee, may the GhIE of the now make sustainable structural changes while it can and redefine the future of Ghana. God bless our motherland and make us great and strong. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Senyo Hosi. And I can say, and I'm sure everybody that has joined us today, we have all been challenged. And I remember when the chair mentioned some of the speakers that we were thinking of, there were other questions on the platform is that why are we not bringing one of our own engineers to lead the session? And that's because sometimes we need to hear it from outside. We know what we think we know, but how are we seen on the outside? And how can we take that information and then change the narrative and people know that we are here and we still have value to give? So thank you, Mr. Hosi, for that. We're going to quickly run into Q&A because I'm sure people have questions for you. People will have a lot of questions for you, but whilst we are in the room, those in the room and those online, we want to be able to monitor the number of people that have been able to join this lecture. So if you have one of these cards, please scan the QR code at the back so that we know that you are here. Those online as well, if you click in the link and register via the QR code so that we know you're here. I believe we're going to be seeing if there are any questions from our online participants. But let's start with some questions in the room. We have truly been challenged, and I'm curious to hear from the audience as well. We've heard Mr. Hosi's lecture. We've heard his challenge to us as engineers. No one is doubting our capability. No one is doubting our knowledge, but people are not seeing it. What can we do about it? So if anyone has any questions, we'll come around. And Mr. Hosi, if it's directed at you, then you come and respond for us. Or if anyone has any other comments as well, then we will do that. Do we have any questions or comments online? And in person as well, please show your hand up if you have any questions or any comments, or you want to add to the discourse or the discussion. Yes, please. Please let me bring the mic to you.
Just a little comment, Mr. Hosi. I think I was the first to get up and clap for your delivery, but there were some assumptions, and that anybody that is labeled engineer and who signs on these contracts and so on is indeed an engineer. You will know, we all know that engineering has the most enormous appetite for capital. And therefore, it took the politicians a very long time to approve our LI. In 1973, all the professionals were supposed to have been given the LI so that you become a member of, for example, the Pharmacy Association or the Medical and Dental Association before you could practice. But it took forever before the engineering institution got theirs. And up till now, we still have a committee trying to interview those who did not take the examinations and so on, and they are still not engineers. And therefore, there are many people working as engineers who are called labels, but they are not really engineers as such. So sometimes everything you said on the surface appears correct. But the thing is whether the people who actually build the roads, the person who built the building next door to us, very close to us, and it's collapsed, is it theory, a structural engineer? Did they employ the qualified engineers and so on to build them? Or people are just calling them engineers because they were holding cement and other accoutrements to build the, yes. So, and that is what I would like you to think about. Thank you.
I'd like to answer it before I take the next question.
Sure.
Again, it's a matter of advocacy. You don't get what you're entitled because you expect it, and you are just entitled to it. You have to fight for it. I have not heard your voice on it, but you're absolutely right. This is a professional body. It's an institution that's licensing. That must first sit in policy. So you don't operate in this country, and that's government itself who should recognize that. So you need to organize yourself and make yourself a meaningful force. I'm a lobbyist. I worked as a lobbyist for about over a decade, and I'm still a social advocate. So, Uncle, it won't come. You have to fight for it. And there's so much energy and capacity in this space that should be able to put you at the table to fight for it. How much when the last time you're engaging Parliament? How often are you engaging them? How are you also trying to even hold back their own job? That they also have to give you what you're entitled to. There has to be a lobby plan. It will not easily come, but it must be done. And there are lives involved. Oh, sorry, please sit. Yes. So there are so many lives involved. That happened, people could have died. Who's been held responsible for it? I'm quite surprised to hear that we don't have a legal backing for, but I thought you have a legal backing. And so now it's there. Okay.
Construction.
Yeah.
A lot of these things are actually, a lot of these contracts and so on are given to people who might not necessarily be, I've seen ladies.
So now we have the power.
Yeah.
That's what you are saying.
So we have to identify and challenge the politicians.
Very well. Thank you. Perfect. Perfect.
Thank you so much. So that is with the Engineering Council who now give the license. And we have two licensing bodies. We have GhIE, Ghana Institution of Engineering, as one licensing body. And then we have IET as another licensing body. But the whole talk about the enforcement is something that it is being worked on.
Just a little advice on enforcement.
Yes,
Practically every legal structure has to get a permit somewhere. All right. So it has to be signed off by an engineer in some form. First of all, the government institutions that would have to do that or sign off on this permitting must definitely have engineers who pass your engineering standards. So are they appointing the right people? So we should be able to have a quick vet of that. The next is to make sure that anybody who comes and their documents put before them, that should be validated back at the institution. It could be a virtual way to do it. It could be online. You upload and check and see if this person is in good standing. There's nothing against that person, and a person validates it virtually. Technology can cure that in a blockchain fashion. All these things can help you deploy your mandates and enforce it much quicker. You also have a computer engineering part of this. So it should not be complicated for us to actually build and enforce this thing through technology. I should sit in WA and I sit as whichever district or municipal body reviews it. Documents come, we upload stuff. It sits here, you guys can validate whether the engineer who has done it right. But especially for public ones, as I recommended, as an institution, you must have a peer review system which goes to validate or reviews the work that has been done by engineers. Because policy work affects not just a few, but practically everybody within society. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I believe there were some hands up online as well. So please let me go to, there's one here. Let me go to Professor Boache, Professor Dr. Boache, then I'll come to those online as well. And then I'll come to our president-elect and others in the room.
Thank you for your message. I totally agree with you that engineers, we have been asleep. And I have often held that Ghana and Africa are going nowhere without engineering. That it is critical. And for that, we need to organize ourselves. It's not going to come easy. Nobody is going to give power to you on the silver platter. You have to fight for it. The challenge is that to some extent, our country is getting broken. We have fallen into this trap of NPP, NDC, and frankly, it is killing the country. Perhaps maybe by using our engineering relationships and so on, we can help to minimize, the impact of that. Because with that, policy is immaterial.
Yes.
It is not about developing the country. It is about developing parties. And we need to get beyond that. And I think all of us, we, the engineering community, you, the advocates, this is one of the challenges that we all need to get beyond. Because if we don't get beyond that, frankly, we'll be talking, and we'll be saying who did what, who stole what. Frankly, up to this point, we have developed a system where we are rotating rogues and thieves. Yes. And with that, really engineering becomes difficult. I'm not saying impossible, and we should not give up. And I think we should continue, but we have to recognize that really there's a cancer in this country, where really the goal is not to develop the country, but rather people have hijacked the objectives of this country. But we need to rescue that. And once we're able to rescue that, then the power of engineering, the power of advocacy, all of these things will come through. And I totally agree with you that engineering really must be the driver for not just the food security, but for a whole bunch of things. You cannot develop a nation without engineering. But we need the help of everybody to rescue our country first so that we can push forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much. If I can go online, if you can show me those online so that we have 2 hands up. So Kwesi, is it Joe?
Yeah, before that, I forgot to mention Engineer Mole. Engineer Mole was one of those who really worked during our COVID time. Very, very hardworking structural engineer. Please give him a round of applause, too.
Thank you so much. So I'll go to, if you show me the names again. Akwesi Jomo, if you unmute, oh, you have a similar surname to mine, Ejapong, yes. Please speak up, ask your question or your comment.
Okay, thank you very much. I believe you can hear me.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Okay, mine is to look at the private sector. Most of the times within a private sector, engineers are not very regarded with respect to making decisions and also position. Just recently, I vouched for a certain position. I was told I was not having an MBA, so I can't fill in such a position. So my challenge is, how are we trying to, as we are all gearing towards developing the country, how are we also looking at the private sector space, which holds about 50 to 60% development position for the country? How are we going to restructure them in an ethical position, that positions that are requirement for engineers need to go for engineers, not business as usual, and just get, later on we go import people from India and other states to come and fill those positions. How are we positioning ourselves for that? That is one thing I want to first raise.
And what
Thank
I
you
will
very
do
much.
as well is let me take another one. So we'll take a series of them and then our keynote will be able to address it. Let me move on to Engineer Raymond Apau, and then we'll come back to the room because there was a couple of hands up in the room as well. Engineer Apau, please unmute and speak for us.
Thank you very much, Madam. Good evening. I am happy that our guest speaker nailed his presentation so rightly, because in fact, sometimes it saddens me to walk on streets, roads that have been constructed 3 months, 6 months, and you see potholes developing on asphalted roads. It's sad, but it looks like there's nothing one can do about it. Sometimes, even though we have payment structures, the contractor is able to get his payment when he has not met certain conditions prior to payment, just because you hear somebody from the top or that from above
And the
says
question
pay.
is? And the question is?
So it's not a question, but okay, yes,
Comment, okay.
question. My question is, are our executives, engineering, Ghana Institution of Engineering executives taking note of all these recommendations? And also, engineers, we do have timelines for projects. So if we to take this as a project, what timelines would they give us or themselves to follow up on all these that have been raised, so that our profession, our institution will look to be developing, to help to be developing our country? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Engineer Raymond. And let me just take, because of time, I'm going to take two from the room and two last ones respond, and then any other comments from the team as well here, from at least the GhIE committee, we will respond to that as well. Engineer Sophia, you had your hand up earlier.
Okay, thank you very much. I don't know whether I am happy or I'm sad, but thank you, Mr. Senyo, for telling us as it is. And I think we all agree that we've been quiet. It is the honest truth. We've been quiet. We have to be at the table where policy is being formulated. Recently, we saw some infrastructure plan being launched and we were not invited. I mean, this is, should I say a signal, or, I mean, the Ghanaians are speaking to us, and so we have to listen. I like the idea of having a peer review, of the major development that is going on in the country. And I believe as council will work on it. We don't have to wait for a collapse and then we go and investigate. I mean, we have to be more proactive. And I believe we will work with the engineering council, to ensure that we are doing the right things. And so thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much. I think we had one hand there, and then we'll go online. I know, Mr. Hosi, you've been standing for a while, but please bear with us.
Okay. My question has to do with the fact that if government wants to include engineers, will it go to Engineering Council, IET, or GhIE? So if there's not one platform to speak to some of these things, the confusion is set up there. If you go to Ghana Bar Association, it's just one. But like, let's say the lawyers, it's just one body you are dealing with. Same with the doctors and same with the pharmacists and all. But sorry.
I don't think your institution is an association. You are making yourself associations. But if you have a licensing mandate, a legal licensing mandate, then you are not a club, even though you are operating like a club.
Exactly. So right now, IET, Engineering Council, GhIE, IET. So there are two bodies in there. That's what I'm saying now. Who then overrides the other? Is it because GhIE was there before IET? IET has the...
You have to figure it amongst yourselves. But more importantly, if you guys at this level cannot even agree, then your road is far.
So we have the engineering council, and what you tend to they are the regulators, and what you tend to see is that on a lot of boards we work together. IET and GhIE work together. It is not an us versus them scenario. So it's working together, and I'll have immediate past presidents also add to this matter.
Well, I'm not going to add to that matter. President-elect says she's neither happy nor, what did you say, or sad. I've listened to you, and I think that it is good sometimes to hear from outside, because sometimes we want to do what I call inbreeding. We have somebody who comes here and we tell ourselves that we are doing well. But then you started by saying that everything around us is engineering. And we were the brightest, we are still the brightest. But then we are not some kind of genius that imposes their will on the factors of production, the raw materials, the finances and everything. We work within a system. An engineer, Dr. Boachi, said that the system is broken. Why is it that you go out there in the US and in other countries, you meet Ghanaian engineers and they are performing? They are brilliant. When we went to school outside, we were brilliant. We were still, on top. But we come into our country and we are unable to perform. It means that there is something happening. We like an architect would take a brief from the client and would develop something for him. In the same way, the word engineer can also be used as probably a verb, okay? Where you engineer something. You engineer something so that it performs a particular role. And you did rightly say that we are here to, we don't design or do things for ourselves. It is for the society. But where you are in a system that is broken, where a system does not even recognize, well, I know you have said that we have to fight for it. It is true. But then there are certain systems, it is an uphill task. You cannot change it. But I don't like that situation where you say it is impossible. Within impossibility, there is possibility. And I really thank you for that, so that it will ginger our minds. But it is not as if we are just there not doing anything. There are some who are really, really, really fighting. But you fight and you are the powers that be will make sure that you don't see the light of day. And we have a lot of our compatriots have faced it. I don't want to mention names.
I understand.
And you understand.
Very well.
A new government comes, the next time, people who have been in certain positions are just chucked out and nobody goes to their aid. So the next time he's in a particular position and a politician tells him to do something, what is he going to do?
He'll do it. He'll do it.
Well, today we are talking about food security. And I do not want us to turn it into an inquisition of engineering or engineers for that matter. We want solutions. I am one person that I always, and I've said it many times, we like to talk. We are a nation of talkers. We talk and talk and talk and talk and nothing happens. Why don't we take the bull by the horn, come up with very important and good suggestions and move on? Because otherwise, I was looking, watching your video, and I'm going to pitch here. As the Ghana Institution of Engineering, we came up with an idea where we are going to build a place at Asin Kushia, where we would have practical solutions, an incubation, hub, where we would go in there and then begin to develop things. And those can then become like what we are doing. They'll become that, I don't know how to put it. It is like a seed that is an incubator, a seed that would then go out there like that guy on the motorcycle. That is what we are looking for. Otherwise, we will keep on talking every year, in, day out, and nothing happens. So thank you very much for that. And I know that as we go back, it will set us thinking. Of course, it's not everything that we may agree with you. Okay? No, it's okay. It's okay. Because, okay, so let's leave it. Let me, because, because there are times that if you are not careful, and like you said, we can debate some of the things, but then the system in which we find ourselves makes it very difficult.
There's one thing.
And I can give you examples.
There's one thing that engineers
Thank you
do.
very much.
There's one thing engineers do about broken systems.
Okay. So because of time, because it's past 8 o'clock right now, and I'm sure we all want to talk, and I think afterwards we can do a bit of networking and we can ask questions. So with all apologies, I may have to limit the questions. I'll just take 2. I'll come to you, then I'll come to Engineer Erev. And we'll...
Yeah, mine is not really a question, but this speech or talk has brought out a whole lot of things which we probably should look at as engineers. I have been in the system and I like the things that Mr. Vimpon talked about. I've been through all of it. But let me be frank. I've also been around for a while. And the system is broken. The politicians are oppressive and everything. But that will not break everything. Is that something that we can do as engineers? No, that is so important. I've also been an auditor, an engineering auditor, and I've seen some simple things which can put everything to sleep. Are we taking our post-graduation education seriously? And sometimes you have a document of every contract has a contract document. And you were surprised that engineers who are supposed to be looking at these projects don't even know what is what is in the contract. So yes, we can debate this, but let us look inside and let us, in spite of the broken system, in spite of the oppressive nature of our politicians with all their power and everything, let us look at what we can do to move forward. Thank you.
I would say that's a nice wrap, right? So, Mr. Hosi, I was trying to swear, but yeah, you've drawn my attention, and I have to go.
I'll make it short. I think maybe Dr. Abedi has said it. You know, let me say that it was a very fantastic speech. You mentioned a lot of things. And I'm happy that you did not say you doubt the competence of the Ghanaian engineer. Nowhere in the speech did you say you doubt the competence or the intelligence. You never said that.
You people passed me for school.
Yes. So, I mean, he rightly acknowledged that we can do it. And the system needs us. But what has not happened, which is also my own concern, is that, one, our understanding of our role in policy is too low. And you can't fix machines and then leave the machine and go and do policy. You need to first understand. So the fact that a policy is made and we haven't even read it, it's also some kind of an indication that we are not interested. And if you are not interested, how will you be able to contribute? So in the past, I must say that we have done a lot of things. I mean, Galamsey, we've written our position, standardization, several things. Maybe what we haven't done is to strengthen our advocacy or have a strategy of continuity, because we start one thing and we stop. So it's not as if as an institution, we have not been doing things. We've been doing a lot and we will continue to do. Maybe from what I get from all this is that he's provoking us that, look, Ghana needs us. And if we started something and they didn't mind us, we shouldn't stop. There is so much that Ghana requires of us that we must continue. So for me, all the fights that we started, this iron rusting, we've done so much, but Galamsey, we have to go back and re-strategize and see how can we bring it back. But definitely the thing on food security, I think there's so much in there. Because everybody, thank you.
Thank you. All right. So There's a question on jobs. A private sector, an engineering job is an engineering job. So if there's a function that what you guys put together needs an engineer to sign off on, they can't go encourage just anybody. So unless, of course, it's an open field, it means that you have not even protected your own spaces. So you must protect your spaces. So certain things can't be done by anybody unless the person is a certified or a licensed engineer. Like ECG, if you don't have a license, whatever it is, they will not give you electricity. You know, so how do we create more of those situations to make sure that these things are firmed in policy? That's what has to be done. But if it's an open thing that an engineering background is helpful but not necessary, you have to face life and then fight it. And you're an engineer, you have to fix something. You know, then the issue about, I think one of the quickest ways to really get yourself assertive in the everyday life of a politician or of Ghanaians is through this peer review or professional audit system that is driven by the institution and becomes mandatory. You know, if you're able to get that mandatory, means that anything I'm going to do, we're going to have whatever engineers are signing off in the ministry has and they do will have to be monitored on the engineering side by the institution. It will make you relevant in the space. What is sad, you know, I agree with you that you've done some things, but if my brother here, who is a former MP, and guess what? This is the Jesus to the Ministry of Agri. If you see this man, you see God. You see the minister. You need a two bonded and you even need Honorable Opoku. I'm not flattering you, but it's a fact. You know, he's a very experienced person in practice, you know, and also in politics. But they sat down to do FGP and they didn't call you. They didn't call you. It means that you're not top of mind. You don't have a seat at the table. How can we discuss infrastructure and the whole infrastructure, something's being done? And then the institution of engineering. Yeah, Fremo. Look, I am grateful to my uncles here who appreciate the spirit of what I'm saying. You can throw the letter away, but the spirit, they keep it. I'm grateful. I think that this is an awakening. It's just a call to action. I just came here to call you to action. I know there's so much that is in you. You are better than many of us. And if we have a seat at the table and you don't, I just pity what Ghana is going to get. So you have to get yourselves at the table. The last thing was, oh no, I think that I've answered that. Look, having said that, I'm very bullish about Ghana. I'm very hopeful. I come from a family of 10. I'm the only Ghanaian. Everybody is American or Canadian or something of that sort. My children are wholly Ghanaian. My wife is Ghanaian. And I don't have anywhere to go. So we will have to fix this together. So I respond to your call as a Ghanaian. And it's a call on every citizen. We have to work with you. You are the anchors. You are everywhere. Where I'm standing is engineering. What is holding is engineering. What we'll do tomorrow is engineering. Where we are going to right now in our cars is engineering. You are everywhere. If we can get you to get things right, this country will be fixed so properly. It will save us a lot of money that can be spent on other things. It's not just about designing things, but designing things viably, effectively, and yielding the right output. It's not about copying and pasting. It's also about learning, but adapting things properly to our society, to what works for Ghana. Who can understand Ghana better than the Ghanaian engineers themselves? I can't find one. So please, Ghana needs you, and you have so much in you to give Ghana. There's so much you guys can do, but you can't do it in a scattered face. You must do it together as one body, structuring things professionally, and standing in the gap for Ghana. God bless you all.
Thank you. Thank you once again. And I believe we've all been challenged and we've all been charged, and we've all been given a call to action, and this is the only country that we have. So we need to find a way to make it work. And just before I call our chairperson, as much as engineering we've been in charge, you too, I was feeling hot for you sometimes. So I'll sneak a look and say, oh, I hope he's not, but we've all been called to action. And I'm happy that you are still smiling and that you are still here. But before I call, I want to call on our chair, the chair for the Professional Practice and Ethics Committee, to give us a few remarks. And then we will move on to a handover as well.
Senyo, thank you very much. So for most people who do not know this, as at last week, I was a bit jittery because I was worried about what Senyo was going to talk about. And then I was also concerned because I was talking to Benjamin and I said to myself, I need to pay both of them a visit. So I visited Benjamin in his office, and it was supposed to be a 10-minute conversation, but it ended up being almost about an hour. And then I visited Senyo at home, and we had also about an hour of conversation. And by the time I was done talking to them, because, it was at the point where a lot of the engineers had come back and said, why aren't we bringing engineers? Why aren't we bringing engineers? And I thought to myself, we're not here. And I said that in my welcome address to pat ourselves on the back, and that we truly need people who are outside to come and speak to us and address these things for us. So thank you so much for understanding what we needed you here for. And I agree with Engineer Immediate Past President. We will sift through it, take what we really believe needs to be encouraged and changed. I sit as the chairperson of Professional Practice and Ethics Committee. And for me, I have been challenged. And the reason I've been challenged is because our mandate is usually spelled out in such a way that there are things that we're supposed to do during the council year. But I realized that maybe we're being a bit too, we're going by the book, and that we really need to start thinking outside the box. So when you talked about this request for peer review of audits of things, I sat down and I thought to myself, we really need to put up a subcommittee within the PPEC to look at how we can structure this and request for some kind of interrogation of what our MMDCs are doing. So I, as a chair, I am promising that we're going to change that. That's number one. And our council meeting, well, I sit on ESCO as well. Our ESCO meeting is next week. Our council meeting is 2 weeks after that. We're going to shake the table a bit. We're going to have conversations that need to drive change within the way we are doing things. So thank you. And I'm saying this meaningfully, that I feel that we need to change, and some things will change, and you'd hear from us. So thank you. But before I ask our chairperson to give the closing remarks, we can't just say thank you with our lips. We have something small for you to take away with you, for our chairperson, for our guest of honor, and also for our keynote speaker. I want to come to your homes and to your office and see it sitting somewhere very small so that you remember us. And especially when you see the changes happening, you look at it and say, I was part of the process of change. So if you please do not mind, kindly join me upstage. I would like to call on our vice president and our president-elect to help us give our little gifts to our. We'll start with the chairperson. So our chairperson got a lot of shaking. I was listening to the shaking we got as engineers, and when I compared to his, Charlie, all the best, sir. So I'm aided here ably by the Director of Professional Practice and Ethics, and she would hand this over to President-elect Engineer Sophia Tijani. And this is a plaque that we've done, especially for this occasion, and we're handing this over to our chairperson. I know it has a minister's name on it, and so you deliver directly to him, but we do not forget your input in today's event as well, so thank you. Next, we would like to award the guest of honor. We have a special guest of honor, Mr. Benjamin Gyan-Kesse. You know, once the vote of thanks is done, if you would please bear with me, he has a video that if he does not show, his people will not let him go back to office. So once we finish with the vote of thanks and everything, Benjamin will show us a little video. It'll take just 5 minutes of our time. But in the meantime, thank you so very much for all the insights, for the good work that GhIE is doing, and also for starting something that's going to be a great collaboration between us and GhIE. Thank you. The next, but not the least, the grand agitator, the shaker, Mr. Senyo Hosi. Senyo, thank you so very much for taking time to go through a very well-researched document. I think for those of us who were listening keenly, we realized that a lot of research went into it, a lot of data that as engineers, we may not even have because it has to do with, yes. So we are going to actually take that paper and publish it as well. So thank you very much for a well-researched document. Thank you. So, and I'm not taking the role of the vote of thanks. The actual vote of thanks is coming. So thank you very much.
Give it up for them. Thank you so, so much. And we're coming quickly to the end. But before we do that, we want to give our chairperson an opportunity to give us the closing remarks. And we truly appreciate you having stayed through the whole session. So please, our chair, we'd like to hear from you.
Thank you. All too soon, the 2025 annual ethical lecture of the Ghana Institution for Engineers has come to an end. It came with a theme, feeding Ghana responsibly, the ethical role of engineers. Yes, as we bring this even important lecture to a close, allow me to express my sincere appreciation for the depth of thought, insight, inspiration, the challenges that has characterized our discussions tonight. From your national anthem, I saw something that God is the master. And we, from the agriculture point of view, we also saw God, or we see God as the master agriculturist, because he created everything, and especially he did the Garden of Eden and asked human being to manage it. The question I was asking myself when I was listening is that if God, the creator, is the master engineer, the master scientist, where our engineers in our agriculture space? Where are our scientists in our farming sector? When the medical doctors finish their training, where do they work? They go into the hospitals, the theaters. When the teachers, they go through teacher training school and finish, where do they work? They go into schools to teach. Unfortunately, in this part of our world, when Mr. Senyo was giving the statistics, I was keenly trying to listen to how many scientists, agriculture is applied science. And with that science, that's the physics, chemistry, biology, mathematics, nothing is created. Nothing is coached. How many of us are into the agriculture space? He talked of the population that is in the agriculture space about 38%. What is the percentage of the contribution of the 38% of our population? We are doing about 21% of the GDP. So there are engineers here. I'm a mathematician myself. When you do the division, it means we are doing 55% performance efficiency. That's 21 divided by 38. So if the backbone of this economy, without ourselves, that agriculture is the backbone of Ghana economy, is that not the issue? If performing at 55%, if it to be examination, what will it be? But because the smaller engineers, that's the smaller course, are not here. I listen around, and there is a saying, being a politician, one of the renowned sayings in Africa is by President Mugabe. He said, our manpower base has been turned upside down. I think a lot of you have read it. When the best of our students, after getting your 1As and they say go and do science with baccalaureate, functional biology, Kokuti. And the first class, yes. When we come out as engineers, go to the assembly, the local government, the federal road engineer, Mugabe said, will be ruled by the second class who did business administration. And he went further to say that the third class, maybe who did political science, will go into politics and come and rule the administrator and the engineer. He's the politician, is that not it? Yeah. He said something. These are serious observations. I remember, I'm fortunate I did A-level, advanced level, and also one of the best schools. And it's the best school. You want to know the school? GhIE University. That's St. Peter's. We call it the GhIE University. Yeah. So after all this science and the first class and others are ruling, you finish. Those who couldn't make it, excuse me, most of the times, to A-level. Where did we find them? No, some of them, according to Mugabe, will go to Bible school. 6 months, they will come out as pastors with color, men of God. And most of us, the first class be the engineer, second be the administrator, third being the politician, and maybe the fourth class will go and bow to them. We have to be thinking about it. And he said, maybe sometimes when the last class go to the military and when the system gets disorganized, they come and shatter things, reorganize, and make it organized. It's not only food security. I think intellectual security is something we have to think about. Our current president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, said something. He said during the inauguration, when he mentioned the name of Ibrahim Traoré, I think he got the most applause. What does that tell you? So we have to sit up as intellectuals. Let me continue. The presentation we just listened has been both enlightening and challenging. It has reminded us that feeding Ghana is not a mere agricultural, but technological and scientific endeavor. It is an ethical responsibility that calls for integrity, innovation, and a deep sense of duty to our people and also to our environment. I'm particularly encouraged by how this year team that's feeding Ghana responsibly, the ethical role of engineers have drawn attention to the vital interaction between engineering and agriculture. Here, the keynote speaker says something, which is true. When we produce using the natural resources, labor and others, about 30% goes rotten. This morning, there was an emergency meeting in the ministry. The reason being that a lot of rice has been produced. But where are the engineers to tend the mills? They can measure the top. Because if you leave the ordinary farmer, which I've told you, now most of them don't understand the revolution per minute. You squeeze it and break it. At the end of the day, we say Ghana rice is what? Broken. Now that is the challenge. We need the engineers to be there to turn the transformational aspect of the value chain. We need you there. The call to feed Ghana responsibly is therefore a shared national mission. It demands collaboration between government. I mean, now maybe we'll say the politician, the industry. I think the engineers, most of the times, you collaborate more with the Ministry of Industry more than the agri. That's why maybe you were not there when we were doing our policy, because we saw CSIR, that Center for Scientific and Industrial Research. I think most of the research they do in this country, 80% is agriculture. So we work with them, even though they are not under our ministry. We need academia and the professional bodies, such as Ghana Institution for Engineering, which we are present today. Together, we must promote innovation, technology that are efficient and ethical, modern yet environmentally sound, and driven by commitment of greater good. I wish to commend the leadership and members of the Ghana Institution of Engineering for dedicating this year ethical lecture to such a relevant and timely theme. In a world of technological advancement, your focus on ethics serves as powerful reminder that progress must always be guided by principles. We acknowledge the hard work of the private sector in improving the growth of agriculture using improved technologies, as has been exhibited by our guest of honor here, that is Mr. Benjamin Kesse. To our distinguished speaker, Mr. Senyo, I extend my personal appreciation for a rich and thought-provoking presentation you've given us this evening. I think it has wakened a lot of the minds that were asleep this evening. Your insights have deepened our understanding and will certainly help shape future dialogue and policy in both engineering and agriculture from today to go. To all participants gathered here and online, thank you for your engagement and for the seriousness with which you've treated these ethical reflections. I trust that the ideas shared here will continue to influence the way we design, build, and manage systems that sustain our national food future. Let us continue to work together responsibly, ethically, and with foresight to ensure that Ghana is not only feed itself, but does so in a manner that protects the planet and uplift every citizen. At this time and at this juncture, I think I also want to challenge all of you to be at the political table where decisions and policies are made. Yes, Mr. Senyo knows me well. I'm an agriculturist by profession who used to work with British American tobacco. I've grown a lot of tobacco, so I'm a nicotinist. Yeah, so, yeah, I'll tell you this. Along the line, I was called, I think somewhere 2013, by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to be the municipal chief executive of Kintampo North, where I became member of parliament. And I'm somebody from Achimtafo. And through professional, like I said, we were growing tobacco in Kintampo area. And I settled there after BAT folded, did my mango farm and others. I have about 600 acres of farm over there. And I happened to be called upon when I think NDC 2009 came to power. They wanted somebody who can help transform Edra farms. And by then, as a consultant, I work on MEDA. And I was training some FBOs in the Edra enclaves, about 12 FBOs on commercial development of agriculture. And there was a former farm manager of Edra farm. And the current farm manager was there. And when the time came, when I handled agriculture as a business, they said, no, we are all agriculturists, but this man handle agri differently. So they proposed me to His Excellency. By then he was the vice president. I think NDC was 3 weeks in government then. And when I went, they said there were about 5 agriculturists who have proposed they have to activate the block farm. And I was the only person whose proposal says they cannot. So I have to defend it. And I defended it. The issue was the tractors, they were talking about big tractors sitting there. So I told His Excellency then that all those tractors are scraps. And they look at me. I said, yes, there are a lot of hose, seals and others. You've kept them there for 5 years. And at the weather, when you start, there will be leakage. So he said, what do we do? And I said, okay, they have to give it to the Farmer National Service. That's where the block farm concept came. And that was later on. He said, we came to Kintampo to commission the GhIE transmission line. And he called on his executive secretary, Raymond Atuguba, who was my 1-year engineer, to look for me and wanted me to be the MC. And actually, they said, you are a settler. So you can't be what? MC. That's why I became a politician. Yes, that's why I'm challenging you. I decided to challenge the status quo. So I'll go through the general election, which I went through the primaries, contested. The almighty Victoria Hammer came and contested there. I hope you heard of it. My sitting MC, and the challenge was, oh, we are coming to make law. And the farmer, what can you do? That's where I got the Equiafuadanfo. So the farmers actually voted for me. So if we, the intellectuals, we want to take over the mantle of government, as the farmers voted for me, I think the intellectual space, we have to also find a way of going up there. We have to support ourselves. We have to take over the country. So I challenge all of you to be there. Thank all of you for your attention. May God bless you. God bless Ghana Institute of Engineering, and God bless our homeland, Ghana. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you, our honorable chair. And for a minute there, when he was talking about his journey to becoming a politician, and I started to wonder, what grade did he get? But he's told me he's transitioned into the place that he's saying we, the brightest, need to go into. I think more engineers need to go for positions of influence. So please vote for my brother, okay? He's an engineer. Eh? So the engineers, we can make decisions. Please, I hope someone recorded that. Send it to him that I'm promoting him. All right. So as I said earlier on in the call, we've been making acknowledgements throughout the session, and we leave the most important people to the last. So I want to acknowledge some former past vice presidents who are here. Dr. Ado Abedi, please give us a wave. Dr. Ado Abedi, please give us a wave. Thank you, sir. Engineer Harold Isiku, please give us a wave. Please give us a wave. I have Engineer Dr. Kwame Boachi. You heard him today. Please give it a wave. Give it a wave. He's a past president. I'm moving on to the past president, and then I'm also moving on to Engineer Tonto Bafo. Give us a wave. I told you I would leave the best for the last. And if you've not heard your name, it means you are the best of all. All right. So, oh, past vice. I'm sorry. And because I'm saying past vice president, even though our president-elect, she used to be a former past vice president, so she said I should acknowledge her. Engineer Sophia Tichani, please give it up for her as a past vice president who is now moving on into president-elect. So please let me call on Engineer Leonora Otuboateng to come and give us the vote of thanks. Hey, it's true, director. It's you. We like titles.
Thank you. And I think actually the two speakers before me have thanked everyone. So, but I'll still say a short vote of thanks. We want to thank God for a very successful annual ethics lecture for this year. We want to thank the Honorable Kwesi Etubondi for very graciously chairing this occasion with the requisite gravitas that such an occasion requires. We thank our guest of honor, Benjamin Gyan-Kesse, for his insights into innovation in agri-tech, and we will be watching this space. Our keynote speaker, Mr. Senyo Hosi, has spoken to us like nobody else could have, and he has reminded us that GhIE is capable of making Ghana great. We also want to thank our invited guests who are here for honoring our call, our past presidents, council members, past and present vice presidents as well. Your steadfast guidance and support for this institution is invaluable, and we thank you for it. Our cherished GhIE members, both here and online, thank you for taking ownership of your professional growth and development so that wherever you find yourselves, you can work competently, excellently, and ethically in wherever you find yourselves. Thank you to the media team, tech team as well. And I can't leave here without thanking our dedicated GhIE staff who have stayed to work to support this program and always support all our programs in wherever we, in whatever we put together. So thank you very much, and God bless us all.
Actually, let me let you do it yourself, right?
I don't want to be punished. Joseph Senyo Doji, I don't know if I got the name right. It's one of the engineers you nominated as well. He worked very well at the hospital, and he's still there. And since I mentioned the other engineers, he's the only one still there. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you. So all too soon, we've come to the end of our ethics lecture. I want to take the opportunity to remind all of you, we've started off with talking about feeding Ghana responsibly, the ethical role of engineers. We've truly been challenged today that we can't keep on doing the same things that we're doing. We need to make our voices heard, whatever we can. Hey, it's true. They said that behind every successful man, there was some, sorry? So please help me acknowledge the wife of our keynote speaker. Please give it up for her, please. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. to be honest, if she had said no, you can't come, you couldn't be here. So we're truly thankful. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. And all our invited guests, our council members, we ask that after the session, I think there'll be someone there to direct you. Everybody else will be going to the entrance for a few refreshments as we end the day. So we've talked about feeding Ghana responsibly, the ethical roles of engineers, and we have truly been challenged. But let's also think to the future, what we can do. And we are hoping that you've all seen our call for papers, call for abstracts for our upcoming conference with the theme, Engineering the Food Security and Sustainable Agriculture Value Chain. Engineers have not been heard enough in this field, so we are taking the engineering to agriculture. And we will be inviting all of you. We will come to Kumasi. Mr. Senyo, we know where to find you. And our dear chair, you dear, I have to come and see you personally because this is a ticking box for me. I've told the president that I've made a booking by virtue of being here. So we'll follow up from that. So let me now call on Engineer Miriam Aponsa to give us the closing prayer. Oh, and thank you to all our online participants. We have over 140 people online listening to us as well. And then as we finish and we network, before you rush out of the door, we do have a short video by GhIE that we want you to see. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Shall we pray? Our God and our Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for a successful program. We came from all areas and you guided us here safely. We have sat in here, have had a very successful lecture. We have picked up a lot. We want to do a lot. We will need your help. We hand ourselves over to you, that you help us, guide us, especially our leadership, that we are able to carry out meaningful activities that will push Ghana forward, push engineering forward. As we leave this place, we hand ourselves over to you, that you take us safely to our various homes, that in the end, we continue to thank you, glorify your name for all that you've done for us. We thank you and we ask for your help. In the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, we've prayed. Amen.
And we'd like to take a group photo. We'd like to take a group photo, all of us, so that we'll come to the front and we'll take a photo. And if we still have online participants, you can put your camera on so that we can all take a picture together. If you have. All right. So please, let's arrange ourselves. So we take a picture. Those online, turn off your cameras. Let's say your beautiful faces. So a question on online. This says those online, are they getting refreshment too? Are they getting refreshment too? We will email it to you. We'll email it to you. All right, please turn on your pictures, your cameras, so that you are part of this picture. Thank you so much. IT, if you can screenshot them for us as well as we take the group picture. So please, if we can all come here. Engineer Miriam, Madam Faustina, Engineer Chair, please come and let's take a picture together. Mr. Cameraman, are you ready for us? Oh, beautiful. All the online people are on as well. So we're taking a hybrid photo. Say cheese. On the count of three, say GHIE is capable. One, two, three. GHIE is capable. Please, the video, please, the video. And all council members, all past presidents, past vice presidents, invited guests, please follow Faustina. Please follow Faustina, her hand is up. And all others will make ourselves to the entrance where there will be refreshments. Please play the the Cosmos video for us.
School in the Nkranza North District of the Bunu East region. Here is our KIC ICT lab, where the computers were gotten from participating in the KIC School Farm competition. This batch of computers were gotten from the 2022 School Farm competition, where we came out first in the JHS category, and they also came out first in the 2023 KIC School Farm competition.
In 2022, we planted chili pepper and it was very successful. So through this, we won the Discovery and the Best School Farm of the Year. In 2023, we cultivated Gyan-Kesse and it was very successful. So we won 4 awards: Best School Farm of the Year, Best Teacher of the Year, Best Female Student of the Year, and Best Entrepreneurship School of the Year. And it has helped us to build up our IT center in this school. Through the school farm, I've learned a lot from this. And I can see the school farm is very vital for each and every school in the Through this, some of the farmers in our community have started cultivating vegetables. I'll take my uncle as an example. Previously, he was cultivating only tubers, but through this school farm, he has started cultivating tomatoes and garden eggs. And this has made most of the community start cultivating some of these vegetables. And I think it will help the community and help Ghana.
On behalf of the school, I would like to say a very big thank you to Cosmos Innovation Center, MasterCard Foundation, and all the stakeholders who are supporting this great project.
Thank KIC for bringing this competition into existence. Help people in Ghana, my community, and me too.
Just like Adoye Basic School, there are so many other schools that still lack access to basic amenities like computers, decent washrooms, and proper learning spaces. Through the KIC School Farm program, we are calling on all corporate bodies, institutions, and caring individuals to join us in making a lasting difference. By donating functional computers, laptops, or tablets, you can help transform ordinary classrooms into vibrant innovation hubs. Let's give more young minds the power to dream bigger and achieve more. Partner with us today. Call or WhatsApp 0531 025375 or info@kicghana.org. Together, we can plant seeds of change in the lives of thousands of students.
Thank you.
GhIE Basic School in the Nkranza North District of the Bunu East region. Here is our KIC ICT lab, where the computers were gotten from participating in the KIC School Farm competition. This batch of computers were gotten from the 2022 School Farm competition, where we came out first in the JHS category, and they also came out first in the 2023 KIC School Farm competition.
In 2022, we planted chili pepper and it was very successful. So through this, we won the Discovery and the Best School Farm of the Year. In 2023, we cultivated Gyan-Kesse and it was very successful. So through we won 4 awards: Best School Farm of the Year, Best Teacher of the Year, Best Female Student of the Year, and Best Entrepreneurship School of the Year. And it has helped us to build up our IT center in this school. Through the school farm, I've learned a lot from this. And I can see the school farm is very vital for each and every school in Ghana. Through this, some of the farmers in our community have started cultivating vegetables. I'll take my uncle as an example. Previously, he was cultivating only tubers, but through this school farm, he has started cultivating tomatoes and Gyan-Kesse. And this has made most of the farm community start cultivating some of these vegetables. And I think it will help the community and help Ghana.
On behalf of the school, I would like to say a very big thank you to Cosmos Innovation Center, MasterCard Foundation, and all the stakeholders who are supporting this great project.
Thank KIC for bringing this competition into existence. Help people in Ghana, my community, and me too.
Just like at GhIE Basic School, there are so many other schools that still lack access to basic amenities like computers, decent washrooms, and proper learning spaces. Through the KIC School Farm program, we are calling on all corporate bodies, institutions, and caring individuals to join us in making a lasting difference. By donating functional computers, laptops, or tablets, you can help transform ordinary classrooms into vibrant innovation hubs. Let's give more young minds the power to dream bigger and achieve more. Partner with us today. Call or WhatsApp 0531 025375 or info@kicghana.org.